Hello, everyone. I'm doing a mic check. Could someone tell me if you can hear me okay? Just doing a mic check. Mic check 1, 2, 3. All right, we have 12 o'clock on the dot. I'm coming in screen in just a second. I hope you can all hear me just fine. I usually have a helper. She had a makeup track meet today, so I am without her, but we shall make it through. It will be great. Yay! Okay, so sound is good. Fantastic. Lots of excitement. I had to have like walking meditation this morning because I was kind of up here with the excitement of everything. So lots and lots to organize and coordinate, but we are here. You can hear me. You can see me. I'm pretty sure you can see me. So we're good. Okay, well, welcome everyone. I really am so excited about today. We have had such an incredible turnout. I can't see the actual, oh yeah, I can see how many are here with us already. Like, this is a huge number. So I have a couple surprises because of the turnout for the class, which is going to be so fun. But I'm going to jump in, and if you can't join us live and you're watching the replay for this, you can probably skip ahead until you see my full screen is the craft table. That's probably when you could feel comfortable skipping ahead, because other than that, I'm just going to go over logistics for the live class and do some giveaways. Okay, so the first thing I want to say, and I want others to kind of, if you are on the chat and you're like here to chat it up today, if you see people pop in and they have questions, the first thing that's going to help me, because like I said, my executive assistant is out at a track meet, so I'm alone. If you have a question and it's pertaining to what we're doing at that moment, put it in all caps and I will be able to see it quicker. Okay. If you have a question that's a general question, jot it down so you don't forget it. And then we're going to make time for Q&A throughout the class today. So I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I'm happy to talk about things as we go. That's what's fun about the live. I love chatting with you all. So we're going to try to, yes, here to help. Yes. Thank you, Sharon. Okay. So how else can you help me? At the 12:50 mark, I'm planning on taking a break. Okay. So if I forget, this is what I used to do when I was an instructor too. I would tell everybody, I would assign one student who was in charge of telling me that we had a break. And the funny thing about that, so often I had to tell them, okay, just give me like a 2-minute warning, because they were like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I was like, okay, that's distracting. So I can't see all of you, but I'm going to here's what I'm going to use technology to my benefit. And I'm going to set a timer. But if I get sidetracked even still, then I am relying on you all to tell me to zip it and take a break. Okay. Let's move into the very first thing that I want to go on about. How many people are here? This is insane. Okay. And then also from everywhere. Like, I love how you're saying hello from, and then the places. This is fantastic. Audio gone again? Still a very small video on your desk. Huh. Okay. Is that Annie's saying that the audio's gone and still a very small? Is that true for everyone? Please let me know. I'm gonna pause for a sec. Video and audio are good for you. Sounds fine here. Okay, so that might be, and that might be something on your end. Can hear. Okay, perfect. Okay. If audio goes out, I like that you're sharing that though, because that helps me pause and like check with others so I can troubleshoot if it's me or you, which is helpful. So please continue to do that. If your internet starts to go bad, if it's blurry or whatnot, then try maybe shutting down other tabs and things. Okay, let's talk about the class logistics. We'll jump right into that. Talk about live. So if you lose internet or you get kicked off, you're going to join the same link that got you in here in the first place. Okay. If I lose internet or get kicked off, I'm probably going to have to establish an entirely new live. So what that means is give me about 5 to 10 minutes and check your email for the live link, because I will just send out a new email to everybody. Give me 5 to 10 minutes to do that. Okay. If you do not see it after 10 minutes, because it shouldn't take me any more than that, then you're going to check your spam or your promotion or your junk folder. Okay. Okay. See, Ingrid, perfect example. She got kicked off. She's back. She probably used the same link to get back in. All right. So if I freeze, sometimes my computer is silly. If I freeze, I should come back to life in about 7 seconds. These are the problems that I've noticed. Okay. Very good. If you want to participate in the chat, you have to be logged into YouTube. You have to be logged into YouTube, and you likely, if you're watching from your TV, cannot chat along. If I'm wrong on that, please let me know. Am I supposed to see Mary on my screen? June, yes, you are. You should see me and my craft desk. So Ingrid, do you see me and my craft desk? I'm going to ask Ingrid specific. Anybody can answer, but I'm trying to point so that, okay. All right. So the next thing is, we talked about the live. Make sure you do that. We're going to take a break at the 50-minute mark. We might extend this to 3 o'clock. Hold on. Do not see Mary on my... Could someone... Yes. Are all the yeses that you can see me and yes, I see both screens. Thank you, Marsha. Okay, so we might extend up to 3 o'clock. We have a buffer between 2 and 3 because I'm alone. So I don't want to rush. I don't want to feel like I have my anxiety up here. Like, I just want to enjoy the time with you. So we're just not going to rush. Okay, sorry about that if that is inconvenient. But there is a replay, so you can definitely catch us back if you have to step out. All right, let's go over. We're going to step right into. You guys know what we're stepping into here. You have your schedule of events. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about did the logistics. I want to talk about some of the things you got for the class. The first thing is the supply list. I think I'm trying my very best to be super, super clear that I want you to shop your stash first. But that gets lost in translation, and this supply list confuses folks to think you have to have these. Please, if you ever join me again for class, no, you do not have to have exactly what I'm using. I do that for 2 reasons. I list what I'm using for 2 reasons. 1, so you can see a comparable item that you have in your stash. For 2, because I always get asked what I'm specifically using. There's things that I show that people just fall in love with and they want the same thing. So that's why I do that. So this is a PDF that's clickable. You can click any one of these links in your PDF and it'll take you to the site where you can purchase of it if you like. All these links are affiliate links. I'm always open and transparent about that. No cost to you. It's just sort of the company saying, hey, if you send folks here to buy stuff, we'll give you a small commission. All right, so that's the supply list. The next thing that I want to go over is this Stencil Techniques PDF, okay? This is a reference for you to keep, not necessarily something we're going to go over in class today, but it's for you to say, hey, I want to play with my stencils today and pull it out or open it up on your computer and say, let me try embossing paste with stencils, or what else can I do? Oh, let's do some spotlight stenciling. Like, these are things that you can check out. Now, if you click on the title of each of these pictures, that'll take you to a link where I have a couple close-up pictures and supplies. So you can see it's no video tutorial necessarily, but I got to tell you, a lot of these are video tutorials on my YouTube channel. Okay, so that's the, any questions on the Stencil Technique PDF? Let me know, put it in all caps. If you're just joining us and popping in, a reminder, if you have questions for me about what we're doing in the moment, please put it in all caps, or at least the word question in caps. I'll try to be able to catch that faster. Side note, none of you care about this, but I'm going to tell you anyway, that my husband, he's the best. I now have a TV screen in front of my face with the chat up. Before, I had it over here on a laptop taking up real estate on my desk. Now it's right here on the wall. I just can't be happier. Wanted to share it. All right. Good. I see no questions coming in about that. The last thing I sent you is the prep sheet. This one is just to break down what are we going to be doing in each block, and also to kind of tell you, hey, block 2, when we go over basic supplies, it's more educational. So if you're like, yeah, I know all this stuff about, stencils, I'm going to go get my breakfast. I did that on purpose so that you can kind of see the bits and pieces that we're going to be working with. All right. I'm going to do my best to keep to the timestamps, but listen, I got to be honest with you. If you're going to be clocking me, I might lose. So just keep that in mind. So that's what your prep sheet is about. Good to go. I am catching a little bit of the chat as I look up, just so you know. Now, before we get started, I always like to start class. If you're new here, welcome to a class. I'm so excited that you joined. We had such a fantastic turnout that I added giveaways. I added giveaways, and I added big giveaways. So that just makes my heart jump So I'm excited about that. Thank you to everybody for signing up, for joining, for being here. This is great. And I've gotten such heartfelt messages about how excited you are about today's event. That just makes me so happy because me too. All right, so let's get into, oh, and I didn't welcome back. So that was just a message for all you new folks. If you're a returning crafty student, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here too. I didn't want to leave you out. All right, let's get into the giveaways because this right here is just educational stuff. So giveaway. First giveaway that we have is going to be, now registration closed at 9. I grabbed the list. I was able to do a random generator on all the names, and we have our winners. All right, that's how I did it, in case you're curious about how that went down. So the first winner is going to get the 48 set of alcohol inks. They are a brand I picked up from Amazon to do a review with. I tested out maybe 3 or 4 of them. And so I definitely did not want those to be donated. There's a winner. It's a giveaway prize. I'm excited. And this winner is going to be Ann Richards. Ann Richards is the winner of the alcohol inks. Yeah. We're going to do 3 giveaways right now. We have like 12 today, so I needed to space them out. Oh, yay. Oh, Patty, you know what? I think I should probably monetize this video. No, it's unlisted. It doesn't matter. Okay. I did that one time. I forgot to monetize it. And if you know who Tiffany Solario is, she was like, Mary, you're not monetized on YouTube, but we're good. All right. So Ann Richards, if there's more than one of you, this email starts with A Richards. Okay. So all winners will be notified privately, and then we'll set up shipping. All right. The second winner is for a small black silicone mat. Now that is, see this mat right here? It's a black one, and it's about a 12 by 12, I believe. And so that winner for the small black mat is going to be Sheena Nessarala. Sheena Nessarala. Sheena? Let me screw that up. Okay, so you win that one. Yay for you. It's spelled SHEANNA. All right. So that's a great prize. These are great. These grip mats are cool. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then our third giveaway, before we get into all the class, we have, this is one of our Canadian crafty friends. This is the large white silicone mat. So this is actually one of these that I'm going to show you in a second. Okay. So that winner is Anne-Marie Adams. Anne-Marie Adams. Congratulations. Okay. Now, we have so many more giveaways. So I am going to ask you all, crafty friends, to remind me when we come back from break to do giveaways because I don't want to forget. All right. We are going to shift cameras, and we're going to get into our first block. All right. So let me just pull that up. Our first block of instruction or class is going to be, we're going over supply basics. Okay. So let me just fix my camera here. Give me a second. I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. Here we go. All right. Okay, so this first part, I want to talk about stencils, supplies, and all that good stuff, because here's the thing. And if you follow me or hang out with me on YouTube for any length of time, you know that there are so many different things you can use for your crafting, for all of your things. There are just like alternative stuff you can use, things that would be used for like automotive, and we can put it in the craft room. And so I want to go over some of the things that you might see in the craft world, and then also maybe something you have that you can use. First thing that today we're going to go over and what we're going to use is, cardstock. So the first thing, I don't have any cardstock from Bristol Smooth cardstock used today specifically for class. I wanted to include it though because it is a brilliant cardstock. And I keep it. I never use it for bases, and I don't use it for scraps. I use it for coloring with my real brush pens. For stenciling, you get a smooth look, but stencils are forgiving, so you don't need it. Most times I don't use it for stencils, but I use it for ink blending on the backgrounds. All right, so that is something I wanted to just add because I do get a lot of questions about Bristol Smooth. The two that we are going to be using in class, a couple sheets of watercolor cardstock of your choosing, and a lot of the accent opaque or regular cardstock. I have the 100-pound here. This is what sorry, I just got distracted by June's comment. Yes, everyone who is registered is eligible for giveaways. If you registered, you're good. So we have these two kinds of cardstock that we'll be using today. Now, in the prep sheet, I had you cut down a bunch because that's something I hadn't done in the past, and I find it useful for you to just be able to grab and go. All right, so those are the two cardstocks we're going to use. When we're doing anything with water or spraying, I like the watercolor because it holds more, and then other techniques we can use either. All right, so those are the cardstock. Okay, so let's talk about craft surfaces. Now, when we're stenciling, so the hottest thing, I'm just going to jump to the kind of the hottest thing on the market, which is a grip mat. Now, I have both the stamp wheel grip mat, the one that comes with the stamp wheel, and you can buy it separately. And I also have the waffle flower. Waffle flower hasn't been as immediately easy to use for me as the stamp wheel grip mat. This one is what I'll be using most in class today. This is the grip mat, okay? Now, I love it. It's basically just like a photopolymer stamp. That's what it feels like. But I don't like to have to put my acetate on and off it. So I just made this hack, and it lives in here now. And this is a envelope that has the coating, the plastic coating. So I do this because I want to make sure that I don't get any dust in there. You don't want to open mesh. Okay, Carlos, what size do we cut down our card stock? Okay, so you can cut it down anything you please, but A2 is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. That's the A2 size, and that's the size I'll be using a lot today. All right, good question. So that's how I store my grip mat. So this is the mat that we're going to be using today pretty much for most of our crafting. You also have a silicone mat option. And what's cool about the silicone mats is that when you're stenciling, the cards don't move around as much as they would, say, if you were on a slicker surface. So that's an option. But I still would not trust it to hold down my card so that it wouldn't move around when I was stenciling. I don't trust that. The trust factor is not there. So I still would tape it down. But silicone is, you know, a less slippery surface. This one is a mat from scrapbook.com. It is the thicker silicone mats and easy to clean. I don't feel I have to cover this one. It doesn't collect a whole bunch of dust or hair or anything like that. So it's very easy to work with. All right. So that is, but you can get these on Amazon, smaller, you know, where you'll find these. This is for like people who do soldering, like metal and heat and things like that. You can find them super cheap on Amazon if you wanted to go that route. All right. So that is our silicone mat of that type, but it is kind of cool. You have your little wells up here. Anyway. All right. Next one is going to be a grip mat like this. This is from scrapbook.com. You have to keep this covered, or so one of the hacks I do is I roll it up like this, and I just put it off to the side. So if anything's going to get dusty, this is when the plastic is off, I mean. If anything's going to get dusty, it's going to be on the outside surface, and it's not going to be where I'm working. So that is an option, but you don't want to leave this one open, in my opinion, because it's got that type of silicone that tends to attract everything. So if you have cats or dogs or whatnot, yeah, it's, you know, you got to be careful with that. Okay, answering a question from TR's Place, would a gel mat do the same thing? I believe a gel mat would do a similar thing. I don't have one though. So if someone in the chat does, please let us know if it'll hold on to your cardstock as well. It's one of the things I want to test out. However, I don't think a gel plate is cheaper than a grip mat. So I could be wrong, but I'm not sure. Okay, what about a glass mat, Lorraine? So we're don't have one to show you because the filming just makes it so glary. But glass mats are great for stenciling. Absolutely, the surface is fantastic for the picking up the ink and reusing the ink and maybe even smushing, love a glass mat. You have to affix your stencil down though, which is where we're going next. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about next. So we have a little bit of the surfaces. Now listen, don't forget, when we're not here talking about craft surfaces necessarily. I'm talking about for stenciling, but craft surfaces, oh my goodness, do not overthink that. You can pick up those 2-pack of cutting plates, cutting boards from Dollar Tree, slick surface. You can use grill sheets. You can use parchment paper. It doesn't matter. As long as it's slick, you'll be good to go. Does Norma is asking, does ink come off easily from the grip mat, sticky mat? From the grip, yes, you can clean up either of those mats really well. I used a used Cricut cutting mat. I'm here for the hacks. Throw them in the chat. Absolutely love that idea. That's fantastic. On that note that Kim is sharing, I have one, a small one, a mini one from the Dollar Tree. And this is the standard grip sticky. So yes, I can put my paper here, and I believe that you can clean off ink these as well. So yeah, put all your hacks in the chat. I am here for it. I'll probably go back there and make another video based on your inputs. All right, so that is a really quick overview of surfaces that you can use. This right here is a self-healing cutting mat. I'm going to be working on this because of video purposes. It is not my preferred mat. I like my glass mat and then putting my grip mat on top. My grip mat doesn't go anywhere. It is affixed for sure. But because of filming and the glare, we have to improvise today. All right, so let's talk next about taping down your stencils. This is an important piece. I know it seems simple, but if you're working on a surface like this, you're going to want to make sure that you are taping both your cardstock and your stencil. All right, I know this is kind of like basic information 101, but it's important that I talk about it or else your project will just be ruined. All right, so I'm just going to put a little tape here on the back. I'm going to place it right down there. And then when I put my stencil over, I'm going to tape down my stencil as well. Let me grab my stencil book one in a second. Okay, so I have everything, all my stencils and stuff broken out by block of instructions, so I couldn't grab one close to me. All right, here we go. I'm just going to pull this one out, and when you're fixing it down, now if I'm using the grip mat, I'll show you that in a minute. You don't need to do this part, which is great because you save on tape. Also, if you haven't seen my video, I know. If you're as excited about me, about a tape dispenser as I am, we might have bigger issues. All right, I'm going to tape this down right here. And now I am fully confident that that is good to go. Risa, I put some frog tape, painter's tape. This is for delicate surfaces. I put that on the back. I'm confident using this for certain masking over cardstock, but not going through a die cutting machine yet. It's a little bit too rough still, but that's the kind I'm using. All right, I'm catching which mats don't get scratched when you cut them. I haven't met one yet, Miss D's account. I have not met one 100% yet that does not scratch. So if anyone knows, please share with us. All right, here we go. That is taping down your stencils. Don't forget to do that throughout class today. All right, if you're not using something that's going to stick with them. While we're here, this isn't on the agenda, but this is how I store my stencils. I feel it pertinent to class. But I store my stencils in this binder. It is the best storage solution I have ever come up with, probably for any product. I have them sorted by, one binder is for like the fall holidays, and then this one is just sort of random stuff. But I love them in here because it's easy. I know exactly where they go back home, and it keeps me just figuring out life. Stormy is asking, what weight of watercolor cardstock do I use? It's on the supply list. I'm not quite sure offhand. Okay, so that's taping down your stencils. Let's talk about tools next, okay? So stenciling tools. Now, I would love to tell you that there was one tool I recommend to use and you only need that one, but I can't because there are different purposes for your stencil tools. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second because I do see a question coming in and I just moved on really quick. Is there a two-sided tacky tape that won't rip paper? Sue is asking, a two-sided tacky tape. That I have never found one. From my experience, I don't know. So if anyone else has a answer for the Sue, please let us know, because that would be really cool if there was. The only thing that comes to mind are those grid papers that were made for like the Tim Holtz platform. Those are two-sided and they won't rip paper. But other than that, I don't know of anything else. Which video has the tape dispenser? That's going to be the Alternative Craft Supplies, my most recent video posted. And there's timestamps on there to check that out. Okay, I'm going to move on to tools, but if questions pop up, I'm definitely going to pause and answer, okay? So for stenciling tools, different products are going to call for different things. If you're using liquidy, paste, things like that, you're going to want to use something that's like a palette. You're going to be able to spread it across your surface, all right? You can also use something like the spatula. I like this spatula because this is from the Dollar Tree, because it has a little bit of a give at the end, but it's also firm here. So it lets me kind of put my spatula, just like for baking. So it lets me put on my paste on my thing, right? An old credit card, a heavyweight piece of cardstock. It doesn't matter. You can use any of these, right? So I think that's a really, really important thing to keep in mind. Like if you have something off to the side, you're like, okay, will this work? Give it a go. So, but when you're using paste, you're going to want something that's going to spread the paste out, okay? When you're putting on ink to your stencils, there's multiple things that you can use. And I even have, I don't have one. Yeah, I have one here. And you all know those new, pouncer tools that came out. They're rounded, but they're not this foam material. They're actually makeup sponge material. All right. So the reason that those came out, like what they're saying those do is, if you have an intricate stencil that has a lot of like little pieces that shift, you can pounce on top of your stencil and get good imaging. It's hard to pounce with these kinds of brushes. They don't give you the same effect, but try a makeup sponge first, right? They even sell them in the rounded piece. We're going to play with that later, but just wanted to let you know that was the difference. You have your ink blending brushes, and these are the ones with the real bristles, okay? So I have multiple kinds here to show you. I have all kinds linked, so you can test those out, but these are great for intricate parts of your stencil, right? The finger daubers are color coded. Then I have these right here. They're smaller. And then I have multiple sizes of this kind. Mushrooms. Yes, Ingrid, the mushrooms. Okay, I love them all too, Rebecca. They're fantastic. And whoever commented that I went too fast. Oh, Rebecca said I'm monitoring the chat. Thank you, because it's right in front of my face. Thank you, husband. All right, so this is right here is the foam tool. Now, this was kind of the first thing I started out with, the foam tools. And you can buy just a bunch of foam toppers and maybe a couple applicators. I love this still. I don't use it as much, but there is a place for this tool. And I'll talk about that as we go on. This one right here is made by scrapbook.com, if someone's asking that. So this is, I definitely have a place for them for particular techniques. So I'm going to show you that. All right, so those are a little bit of the tools I'm going to be using today. Also, if you have none of these, an old credit card, an old gift card, like I said, a heavyweight piece of cardstock, just something that you can apply with. Okay. Now, you might notice I'm going to try to keep my waste to a minimum today as far as cleaning, but I'm kind of on this end rushing through certain things. So if you see a lot of baby wipes or paper towels, please forgive me. I usually take my stuff to the sink, but I can't do that today. I do have my bucket of water, so if you don't have that and you find that would be useful, grab it. I'm going to take a drink break and see what the chat's going on. Give me a moment. Okay, very good. Let's move on. We are going to be talking, we already talked about paper, fantastic. We're going to talk about ink, sprays, and paste. So the stuff you're going to put on your stencils, use with your stencils, lots of different stuff. You have, we're going to do a technique with embossing ink, with the dabber though. If you guys haven't picked this up yet, I'm finding a lot of uses for this dabber, this embossing dabber. It's like embossing paste, but it has the round top. So I am finding a lot of uses for this lately. But we're going to be doing that. You have distress oxide ink. You can use dye ink. You can use any kind of ink you want to put on your stencils. No issues there. You can use sprays, distress spray stains for your stencils. I just recommend having sort of a containment area like a box, and then lots and lots of pastes out there. Lots of pastes. I did a video a couple years ago on how pastes, embossing pastes will work and operate and whatnot. And you can check that out on my channel. If you type in the search on my channel, embossing paste, it'll probably come up. Woo, that video was big. I tested so many. And so, yeah, that you can check that out for sure. But that was old. There's a lot of new stuff that came out. It's all the same, in my opinion, except for a couple here and there. And you just got to choose what works for you and what you like, right? So this is a new one too, the solar paste, which I have to say that is like definitely different than the paste because it comes out like holographic. So solar paste, if you have it, what do you think of it? I think it's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, it's a great tool, right? Frida, it is. I really like it. I'm having a lot of fun using it for different things. All right, so let's look at, we went over the paste. Now I'm going to be using, and we're going to go into the next block here in just a second, but I'm going to be using scrapbook.com's Cloud Whip. So let me grab block 2's supplies. Block 3 supplies, and I'll be right back. This is about a 30-second intermission. Oh, I love how you're answering questions for each other. Thank you for that. Okay, so I just want to brag about how organized I am today. That's all. This is for block 3. Look at me. I can't even with myself today. Kudos. All right. We are going to jump in to the next block of instruction, and that's going to be making our own stencils. Now, I started with this because if you want to make your own stencils today and then use them with the next block where we actually lay them down on paper, that would be super fun. So solar paste on black cardstock. Yes, Betsy, I agree. I think that is like one of the best and really probably the only usage I will have with it because it shows up so much better. I hardly see it on white. So yes, I love that. Danielle, thank you. That is from the Dollar Tree, that basket. So I don't know if they still have them, but there you go. Now we are going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to show you how to make a couple stencils. I felt like this was just such a super fun thing. I did this in a hacks video, but we're going to slow it down and I'm going to include it in this. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make shadow stencils. All right. And what that means is, let's say you have an image, an intricate die, and you want the shadow piece of that, but they don't make the shadow die. Well, you can at least make a stencil for it, and then it will be able to be seen on your paper. Okay. So let's see what I'm talking about here. So what you'll need for this is, this is an example. So this is actually a die of a bow that I cut out and used the negative to use for my stencil. Okay, so that's basically what we're doing. And so with that, I'm going to show you another example. Okay, and we're going to go through the process together. So again, remember, I have to remind myself not to rush because sometimes I get a little too rush, and I do get some really great feedback from you all. I can't keep up. Okay, so I just have a couple of different colors inks here. Use whatever you got in your stash, pull that out. And here's the example of what I'm talking about. So this is one, if you use the intricate, you can do that. You can use that as a stencil. So this stencil actually has a shadow die. So I'm going to be using this Thanks die. I'm going to go zoom in just a little bit more. Okay. So I'm going to use this Thanks die, and it has the intricate piece and it has the shadow. All right. So I'm showing you that I did both the intricate stencil and the shadow stencil. Now there could be a place for both. If I kept that one right here and then I place this and I make it look like a little bit of a shadow in the background, that's cool. But this right here is a little bit more, like stands out a little bit more, right? So that is how we're going to be, that's what we're going to be doing. That's the concept. And then of course, this is the bow die right here. And here's my stencil piece. Okay, so that's how we're going to do. So what I want you to do is, if you're following along in this portion of it, I want you to die cut your, whatever you're using, your shadow die, your intricate die, whatever it is, go ahead and die cut that now. And then you're going to start the application process in a second. Since I already have these things die cut, I'm going to look at the chat while you do that. And then we'll get started with actually putting it down on paper. Okay, and I have another one here. This is love you, and that's another option as well. So just kind of some examples here. Okay, so let me see. Let's see if some of them. Oh yes, okay. So Joy, I want to talk about what Joy's talking about. Even she said that even using press and seal, some of her pastes have dried up. So yeah, press and seal has elongated my stuff for sure. I haven't had anything dry up yet with it, but it is a good hack. Anyone else have any ideas to keep their stuff from drying up? That would be great to share. Yes, West of Phoenix Stampin', I did that. I tested out the glass beads gel, and I thought it was so cool looking. So many different kinds of gels and pastes out there. Okay, so you probably have your stuff die cut. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to pull out my sticky. Where's my sticky mat? I'm going to pull out my grip mat. Is it called grip mat or sticky mat? I don't even know. This one is from the stamp wheel. So let me pull that out, and I'm going to place it. Now this is the bumpy side right here, and this is the smooth side. I'm going to place the bumpy side down right on my mat. Okay, now my focus is going to want to give me a hard time. And I'm going to, yes. So Gina, yes, where you're die cutting, let me bring in my mini one so you can see it real quick. So die cutting is using a die cutting machine. You're going to run it through your paper and your die and the plates that come with the machine. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Good question. Okay, so here we go. Right here. If you have hacks you want me to try, email me. Because I certainly, you know me, I'll do it. I just have a list. I have a queue from a lot of people requesting things. But yes, please send me ideas because I love sharing them. So I'm going to place down my paper. Now, this is where we get into the goods of just showing this grip mat. I am not by any means pushing this grip mat on you. I'm just letting you know how it works since I'm going to be using it. Because I have my slick surface back here. So, okay, I have my my paper down, and I'm going to take this would be called the negative, all right? The positive is the thing that positively pops out, if you ever get confused, all right? So I'm going to use my negative, and I'm going to add it to my cardstock. Now, this is the example we did right here to show you. So, and then I just added some pops of color to give it some oomph. That's it, some glitter glue. Okay. So we place down, this is now, again, how easy is this? And you're making your own stencils. I'm going to show you a more permanent way. But let's say you cut something out and you're normally like, oh, that's trash. Doesn't have to be. And so that's why this is so great. All right. So I'm just going to take out, this is Wilted Violet in the Distress Oxide. Now, couple tips here. If you're going to do this, you might want to, if you're not going to be paying attention, mask off areas that will get ink if you're not careful. All right. So that's something you can do. And then you're just going to take your whatever tool you're using and apply your ink. That's it. And you have your own homemade stencil from stuff that was going to go in the trash. Now, since I'm using a heavy cardstock right now, this is probably going to last me for quite a few uses. All right. And we have our first one. Now, what's cool, now, if you do that, this part right here, if I place it on top, it would be nice if it was like a holographic die cut, and then I popped it up. Like, let's say I have it like coming up off the paper. You see that? Then you can see the background, and that would be cool. All right, so Patty, my paper is 100-pound weight from Accent Opaque. Okay, so then that's how you would do that. And then you can go ahead and make a full background, or if you just want one in the center. I watched a video just this morning by Lou Collins, who showed a butterfly. She die cut this beautiful big butterfly die, intricate, but the thing that was left behind was a big butterfly, just opened. So she put color down there, and then she put the intricate die cut on top of it, and wowzers, it was gorgeous. So highly recommend, don't throw away your negatives, just use them for stencils. Okay, so that is one example. We'll just use the same cardstock. Now here's the difference I wanted to show you here. This right here is, if you did this on larger piece of paper, let's say like that's why I had you cut out a 6x6 piece for the next one, because we're going to make a more permanent stencil. But for this one, be cognizant that you're going to be moving it around, so it might not stay put. You might have to tape it, even if you're using a grip mat. Okay. So on this one, I'm just going to demo this for you, even though you saw it, but we're going to demo it. Also, side note, I just re-inked a bunch of my Distress Oxides after like 3 years. And wow, I didn't realize how dry they were. I got ink on them now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can actually use these. Anyone else? Guilty? So I could make stencils on my Cricut. Oh my gosh, Gina, yes, and yes, you can buy stencil material even. Take to YouTube University. You're going to get all the info you need for that. Yes, you can. I know. I was like, for my stencil, I'm going to tell you, this is behind the scenes thoughts of how I was planning this class. I wanted to make a stencil for every attendee and send it out to you. I didn't have the time. So there you go. Colossal letdown. Okay, now this is the shadow look. All right. And then just a little bit more shadow look. And we have our things. Now that would be really fun with some dark cardstock or whatnot. It'd be really cool to see. Okay, so that is making your quick make of your stencils to guide the stuff. All right, so let me put my ink away. And the next way that we're going to do it, I have to refer to my sheet or else I'll just get carried away in the chat and not be paying attention. Next one is going to be the cover plate stencil. Okay, so this one is not the more permanent. We're going to do the more permanent one last. But the cover plate stencil, if you'll give me just a moment as you clean up your surface as well, you're going to want to pull out a die. That's a cover plate if you're playing along. A cover plate die is basically a die that's the full size of the sheet, whether it be slimline or A2 size. It's a large die. Okay, and so we are going to do that one. And then we're going to do some fun with spraying. All right, that's going to be a good time. Look at how I'm just not going to, look, the crafter math is still going to be real, but I'm at least containing the crafter math, and it's not going to be all over everywhere. All right, let's move on. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. Now, the only thing I won't be doing in class today is I won't actually be heat setting any embossing powder because we've been having some fuse issues, and I don't know, I was over fearful that we're going to blow a fuse while I was in class. So I have all that stuff pre-made. But I will allot time for you to be able to heat set it when the time comes. But we're not there yet. So we're moving into using a cover plate. Now I'm going to be using my cover plate. This one is just specifically from scrapbook.com. It's the Rose Bloom cover plate. Let me grab that. That's this one right here. Okay. And then I just have some watercolor cardstock because I'm going to be doing some spraying. And then I have, look, I even have my notes. Cut with die project. If I don't do this, folks, I'm all over the place. So I have my 2 pieces of paper. This is just 100-pound cardstock. I'm going to use that. Now, I know if I used watercolor cardstock because I'm going to be spraying on it, I could probably just then use that as my project, which is probably what I should do. So don't listen to me. Use watercolor cardstock for both, but we're going to go with it. Because then you're going to be able to actually use it you'll get a 2 for deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out my die right here with this. Okay, now this is where I pull in my die cutting machine. So I'm so sorry, I forgot who asked about the die cutting machine, but Now you're going to get to see it in action. I know, it's so exciting to think about your own stencils, right? Like the ideas are limitless. I love it. So I'm going to be using the Spellbinders Platinum 6. This is an optional giveaway for the grand prize winner today. If it's what you want, you can have one brand new. I always use my magic mat in there. I find this has been saving me on replacing my die cutting mats. I've been using this Spellbinders for weeks, and look at this top plate. Like, hello, that magic mat is magic. So a tip for, since we're here, a tip for die cutting your dies that are like flat surface like this, what you can do is make it straight, sure, on your cardstock. That's fine. But when you put it into your machine, put it at an angle, just the slightest angle, because then it's going to run through the die cutting machine at an angle. You don't want it like this. That won't fit. But you want it just slight angle, because then it's going to run through a lot easier. Okay. So that's how we're going to do that. I'm just going to run this through my die cutting machine. Look at my little notes here. This is my cheat sheets. In this class, we are allowed to have cheat sheets, okay? There's no real tests. I might ask you a couple of trivia questions if we have time, but no real test. All right. Now we have this run through. All right. That's it. So yeah, so someone said they need this. The magic mat is great. I love it. I truly like, and you can even use heat to bring it back to its non-warped self. So that's nice. It kind of really is elongating. I mean, like, I don't even know if it's elongating versus like I'm never gonna have to replace that thing. And then I love my Spellbinders Platinum 6. I find that this stuff just falls right out. And this is real time. So I'm just showing you what we're going to be getting. Okay. Is anyone well, you're probably crafting, so you're not typing. So are you crafting along? Anyone? Are you playing along? Okay. So that's what you would do. We are going to what's called a step out. We are going to step out and move on to the next part. Okay. Step out means you don't have to sit here and watch me do every single little step, because I already have one. All right. So this is what it will look like when we are going to be spraying with it. All right. So what we're going to want to do next is, I like a piece that's a little bit bigger, and you're just going to place it on top, and you can tape it down. So we're going to use some of this tape right here. This is the frog tape. Now this is watercolor cardstock on the back, so it does it's not as gentle as regular cardstock with it. So notice I only did a tiny, tiny bit on my actual stencil here. All right, and so now I'm just going to add that at the bottom. I recently got a Sizzix all-in-one tool that I reviewed on my channel, and was like, this box is epic for spraying. It's huge. It's going to take up my whole screen, but there we go. That's the box. Okay, so you're going to place it in an area where it's not going to be, as, able to spray around. You want some kind of a box. Now I'm going to actually tape this portion right on the corner, because I don't want the corners to pop up. I want to actually lay this down as much as possible. So I had a question come to me via email. How do you get these middle parts to stick so that you can get a really good look? You can use pixie spray for that, or glue that dries tacky and let it dry on the back surface and then place it down. Just be careful and test it out, because you have to want to make sure it's not going to rip up whatever cardstock you're using. Almost break time. Thank you so much. I do have 55 seconds. All right, we're going to do this spray. Then we'll close up and take a break. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Yes, Joy, pixie spray. Okay. I'm going to be using some spray stain picked raspberry. I want the new mica sprays. Somebody who has them, tell me, are they great? Maybe I just want to hear that. So tell me they're great, because I really want them. I think they look so fun. So with this stencil that we made out of a die, so we're getting two uses out of it. we are actually just going to not get a perfect precision look. This is more of an abstract kind of look, but we're just going to spray and have a good time. Now, at this point, you can bring in different colors. You can bring in maybe some shimmer spray. That would be kind of cool. Whatever you want, right? So I'm going to go with just a solid pink. This is going to end up being like a Valentine's Day card. So I'm just going to lay on the ink pretty heavy. And I know it's not going to be perfect. That's fine. This is not, I'm not looking for perfection. So at this point, we're going to be able to pull up our tape. My phone's going off. Look, see? Almost break time. We're going to pull this off and we're going to get this look underneath. And then you can trim it down and you can use that for one of your cards. Now, before we go, see, this is really pretty. I love that color. First of all, that's picked raspberry. I don't use my sprays a lot. And then if I use this for watercolor, this is watercolor cardstock or whatnot, I can then use this as another surface or another piece, another card, right? So that's going to be great. So now we have sort of a twofer from just doing a some die cutting. All right. Let me turn the camera back on before we go. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully you guys are having fun so far. I know this is sort of like the educational piece, but we're going to get into some more stenciling when we come back from the break. I'm really, really excited about that part. We still have one more stencil that we're going to make, and this is going to be with the contact paper. So it's kind of timely. If we're going on break right now, we're just going to take about, let's do 10 minutes or 8 minutes. We'll start back on the hour at 1 o'clock Eastern time. But we're going to do the one with the contact paper. So if you want to grab out your supplies for that, we'll get to making that. All right, we will see you back. I will see you back in 8 minutes. All right, we're back. Okay, good break. Got my next set of things set up. Also, great timing to remind us of the new color that just came out for Distress Oxide or Distress Line, Scorched Timber. I put the link in the chat if you want to check that out. Looks cool. Looks very cool. All right. So I saw a couple questions. I went back in the chat on break. I wanted to answer. I'm so sorry who it was, but asked, can we just use the die plate, the die cover plate, as the stencil? Heck yeah, that's a great idea. And then you could just clean that off pretty quickly. I never tried it. I don't know what kind of image you get, but I can't imagine it's going to be pretty good, right? The tip I showed you was a 2-for-1 deal. This is just something you can clean off. So that's a great idea. I love that. Okay, question from Annette. Will I be teaching at the March 2024 Card Makers Success Summit? No, I will not. Annette, no, I'm not part of that summit. I am part of one in April, though. More information to come on that. But no, not that one. Okay, so let's get into well, let me pause. No, hello, you were supposed to giveaways. That was your first test, everyone. You failed. No, I'm kidding. All right, so we're going to do the giveaways next. And if those of you that are saying if you're keeping up with me, or I think it's this class because you're here, don't worry about that. I love that. Don't even worry about keeping up. There's the replay for the reason. And then I have a lot of step out things. I have a lot of things because I wanted to make sure I got all the information with you so you can have it. So yeah, when we're in person, everybody's still at their own pace. So even virtual, it's even harder. All right. Oh, Mary, is that a new design apron? Oh, this is one I made a long time ago because I made this right here, Live Well. That includes crafting. So side note, for those of you that don't know, I have another business called Live and Lead Well. I'm actually a leadership development trainer, speaker, seminars, all in the space of wellness and leadership resilience and all that good stuff. Anyway, so Live Well is like my slogan. And then I just merged it with the crafting world because both of them are so important to me. So I have this graphic. If you have a Cricut or a silhouette, I have it on my Etsy shop for like $1.99 if you want to grab it. Okay. What other questions do we have? Pretty apron, thank you. Oh, let me show you the whole apron though. We gave a bunch of these away in past classes. I think I'm going to bring them back. But isn't it so cute? Look at it. It's got like ruffles. And then the ones that we have, Adia made a bunch. On the pocket, it says a crafty life is a happy life in this rainbow font or this rainbow color. So really cute. Anyway, we're thinking about bringing some back for giveaways. All right, let's go on to giveaways. Because that's not, you can't see you almost saw the sheet. You almost saw all the names. What are we doing next? Large boys. Okay, so we have this next giveaway is a stencil pack. It's a stencil pack. There's 10 stencils in there, chock full, so fun, and very appropriate for today's class. And our stencil pack winner is another one of our Canadian crafty friends, Cindy Baharel. Cindy Baharel, spelled B-E-H-A-R-R-E-L-L. Yay! So the reason I'm making a note that it's a Canadian crafty friend is because a lot of people think that the giveaways are only open to the 48 United States. That's not true. It's international. So I just wanted to make sure. Okay. There we go. Yay for Cindy. Okay, next one, we have a goodie bag full of craft items to include a waffle flower grip mat and lots of other things, stamps, a die, just lots of fun stuff. That one is, I think there's a magic mat in that one. I think. Anyway, that winner of the goodie bag is Karen Roberts. And if there's more than one Karen Roberts, the email is kteach. And there's more to the email. I'm not going to say it out loud, but kteach. So Karen, congratulations. Yay. And then we have our third one that we'll do in this segment is goodie bag number 2 is the Winter Wishes bundle. If you saw that on scrapbook.com, it is this goodie bag is the stamp, the paper pad, the die set. There's a bunch of other stuff I've thrown in there. Oh, alphabet stickers, rub-ons. Some of it is like, you know, a couple things I took away for like a project, but yeah. But the Winter Wishes bundle is all brand new. So yay. And oh, our winner for this one is Lori Zielinski. Lori Zielinski. Yay. All right. So congratulations to all our winners. Lots of fun stuff coming your way. I hope you have a great time getting crafty. And it's after Christmas too. It's like Christmas after Christmas. All right. Let's everyone take a deep breath, especially me. Don't have to rush. To keep reminding myself of this. And we are going to go into the next do-it-yourself stencil. And this one's super fun. And we're going to talk about a little bit before we actually do it, because I want you to get your creative juices flowing. All right. Because this is awesome. All right. Let me change my cameras. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a more permanent stencil. I did this on a video, craft video hacks. But I did it where I have my 6x6. Now I did this size so that I can actually get more surface. All right. This is an 80-pound or 100-pound, I think it's 80-pound piece of cardstock. I did 80-pound because I wanted it thinner, like sturdy enough, but thinner, because we're going to be putting contact paper on top of it and die cutting through it. So I didn't want to have to struggle with that. All right. That's my method for picking 80. You can probably even do 60 if you want. But we have contact paper. This you can get from Dollar Tree or any place that sells school supplies is likely going to have this. So you can check that out. All right. That's what we're going to be using. And then you're going to need some dies. All right. So I have here some circle dies. All right. I'm going to get just showing you some examples. I have some circle dies here. And you want a variety of sizes if you're going to be doing this, or you can just have one die and do it multiple times and make your own stencil that way. We're not going to be die cutting yet though. And then I have this other option here is some multiple of hearts. All right. Now 6x6, couple reasons why this is a great size. For one, you can get multiple stencils on one piece. So if I want to do little diamonds on this corner and something else on this corner, got my hearts, now I have 4 different stencils in one. All right. So that is really cool. You just mask off the areas that you're not using. You can also do an entire background of stencils. So it's all one. So maybe I do put it through the die cutting machine multiple times and get hearts all over the place. All right. Susan's asking if she can use vinyl for this instead of contact paper. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, put your experimentation hat on. And have fun. Try it. I don't know. I think you can. I've definitely die cut vinyl through my die cutting machine, so I can see it working. So yes, actually try it out and let us know for sure. So I think it's pretty similar. So that is one of the reasons. Now, another thing I want you to think about, what if you have background dies, not background dies, border dies, right? What if you had some border dies? Now we're going to pretend, I'm going to grab this one down here from my die storage. You all can't see it, but I'm about to do an updated craft room tour because I have so many changes and you'll see that in there. But let's say we have this border die here and I have let's say I have 4 different waves. Some are big, some are little. I can actually die cut this through my cardstock, right, when we're ready. And now I have 4 different sides. So I can just stencil, switch, stencil, switch. Do we like my professional demo? All right. So that is what I want you to start thinking. When you get this thing covered in contact paper, you can do whatever you want with it. So if you're following along, then you're going to have your 6x6 piece of cardstock here and your piece of contact paper. All right. Now you can make the contact paper exactly the size. I recommend making it a little bit bigger and trimming it away just so that if you're like crooked or it's just not lined up, you don't have to worry about that. So what I like to do here is I like to get it started And then I'm not going to pull the whole sheet off. Don't pull the whole sheet off just yet. All right. Contact paper is being pulled back. Now careful when you do this. You want minimal bumps. So you're just going to pull this back just like so. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to put my sheet on the release paper. This way I can kind of like finagle it the way I want it. All right. So I'm going to just do that. Then I'm going to slowly start to put back the contact paper while I'm pressing it as I go. So I'm going to minimize those bubbles. All right. Now see how crooked my cardstock is? It doesn't matter because I made the contact paper bigger. And that was the benefit to doing that. All right. I'm looking at the chat while I press this down. Any way you can use a Cricut instead of the embossing machine? Gina, yes, I believe there is. You just have to know the settings of your machine. So absolutely. And you're going to get a lot of different variations and faster, and you don't have to run through a die cutting machine. So Gina, I definitely want to recommend that you take to YouTube for that, because yes, indeed, I for sure think that you can. All right. So once that's done, then I can start doing my trimming. Okay. Now it's good that it still has the release paper on the back, because it's going to make it a lot easier for me to cut this. It won't stick to my scissors. So this is in my way. You get out of there. All right. So we're just going to cut this off, trimming it up. So Rebecca says, I love using my laminating to create my own template. Well, tell us more about that. Your laminating machine. What do you mean? Do you just run your laminating sheet through and then you get like an acetate sheet? You're very welcome, Gina. Okay. So now we have it. That's all garbage. And we have our template. Okay. So at this point, if you're following along, you're going to pick whatever dies you want to run through your die cutting machine. Okay. So I want you to take the time to do that. And I'm going to look at the chat because I already have one of these made, and then we're going to stencil. So that's going to be super fun. Okay, so that's what I want you to do next. Get to die cutting that. And then I am going to not lose my dies. I'm going to put them in my package. Look at proof. Proof they're going in the package so that when I email everyone in this class and say, did you guys see where my heart die went? Because I don't know where it went. Are you putting the dies on the contact side? Yes, good question. I did. I put them on the contact side. I'm trying to think if there's. I want to say that you want to do that because when you run through, let's take a look. Let's look at my other side. Oh, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So this is my template here, and you can see here that I have like the press from the dies, but that's not going to affect my stenciling, right? Or the back. Either way. It's a good question. Packaging info on bags. Prudence, what does that mean? Packaging info on bags. Let me know. All right, so we have right now, we have our, I didn't set my watch, so in 30, at 50, 150, someone let me know. We need one break. So we have our template here, okay, all done. This is what I chose to do for demo purposes today. So let me get my cardstock. I'm going to take out my grip mat again. I'm telling you, the storage bags I use. Yes, those are from scrapbook.com and zipper pouches, I believe you can find them. And if you clicked on any of the supplies from scrapbook.com in the supply list, it'll take you in through, not that you have to, I'm just saying it would take you in through an affiliate link if you wanted to check them out. But those are scrapbook.com. I'm going to tell you, though, they're not that expensive, but you can probably find them in a lot of places. Try Amazon, too. Probably get them there. So I have my grip mat back out. I have a piece of cardstock. And I love this grip mat because I can see through it. So I can actually line it up on the A2 part if I wanted to. And then I'm going to have, now this back is cardstock, so it's going to stick to my grip mat if I wanted to. But because I'm going to be kind of shifting it around, I'm not totally worried about that. If you watched, I think in the hack video for where I created this stencil, I did the circle one. So we're going to do the hearts today. Now, yesterday, I'm not even going to open this yet. Yesterday, I re-inked this and it wouldn't soak in. I shook the bottle. So oxide experts, let's find out if it finally soaked in after like 24 hours. It did. Okay, well, no worries then. I'm all good. Okay, so I have picked raspberry here, and I'm actually going to do candied apple and picked raspberry. We'll see what we get. It'll be fun. A lot of this is impromptu. I'm going to pull out some ink blending brushes. Let me find pink and a red. Now, someone in the chat, I think, said don't mix your ink blending brushes, oxide and dye inks. And is that the consensus? Not to mix them? What if we clean them? Asking for a friend. What if I clean them in between? All right, so I'm going to go with, I'm actually going to do sort of like a, we'll just go have fun. I'm going to do a little bit of, you can tape it down if you want. I'm just going to tape this part down. And they're far enough away that I'm not going to get ink contamination, so I'm not really worried about that. But I'm going to go, we're just going to use pink first. Oh, wow, that definitely needed to be re-inked. What was wrong with me? And I'm going to actually go, this is one ink, folks. One ink. What is that grip mat being used? Julie, this is the one from the stamp wheel. So the sticky mat from the stamp wheel. So I'm actually going to go heavier on one side and then make it light on the other, just to give a little bit of a dimensional look. And then I'm going to go up here and try to do the same thing. All right. And I'm going to do a red one. I think I need to re-ink my candied apple, or maybe that was one I did yesterday. Let's find out. Oh yeah, I re-inked this one yesterday. Oh my gosh. I need to go through and re-ink all of them. This is heaven. This is heaven. All right. It's fine if you clean them, but lots of people don't clean between uses. Yeah, that's true. Well, it's fine if I clean it. I hear what you're saying. I need to clean them. Now I need to clean them. I asked the question, and now I need to follow through. I'm going to use this blank piece right here just to take off a little bit of that ink. And then I'm going to go back in and kind of leave it a little bit later on the top. I don't even know if this is going to become anything, but I'm just showing you how fun this is. It's making your own stencils. A little bit heavier on the bottom. Okay. So now we're going to see the big reveal. Oh, I can't. My heart. It's so good. I love it. Okay. So that is the idea of making your own stencils. This is like, I should not be this excited and happy about this. It's so fun. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Do the Distress Oxide inks smooth out when they dry? You mean, I know what you mean. Like if you stamp with a dye ink, it kind of gets blotchy and then it smooths out. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever used them and looked for smoothing out. Anyone? Okay, Sue, is your sticky mat the ultra sticky? It's the ultra sticky. I don't want to take any chances. I went ultra. Ultra sticky. I don't know how the other one feels. I'd have to try it out. Let me put that up at the top here. Now, we're going to clean this because that's why we put the contact paper on there, right? We don't want to have to throw it away. Yes, Lori, exactly. It's exactly what it is. We want to clean it. We want to use it to be more easy to clean. All right. I'm just going to take a paper towel. And you can see now, if you are new and you're like, I'm overwhelmed with all these things I have to buy, you're not alone. I'm old at this and I'm overwhelmed with all the things. So I'm going to say right now, if you're like, well, what if I just used my contact sheet as a craft mat? I would say kudos to you because that's a good idea. That's what I would say. Because this can be your little craft mat you keep off to the side, right? Now I'm going to put some ink on there. And I'm going to take a little watercolor paper, impromptu addition to our stencil class, and I'm going to pick it up, right? And the great thing about this little DIY craft mat right here is you want the kind where the ink beads up, I think, because it actually makes for a better smushing. I think it looks better. It's easier to move the ink around. And look at that. How fun is that? Now we have a background from this. Contact paper is brilliant. There we go. All right. A little smooshing. Yes, a little smooshing. And then we can just clean it right off just like a mat. So that's for the win today. All right. I'm going to go to, let me see. I'm going to take just a breather. And I'm going to see if there's any questions that I can answer or what we're thinking so far about this. I used the Cricut vinyl, worked. Oh, wait, wow, worked great. Yay, done. Oh, we're all learning so much in this class. This is why lives are so great. And even if you're watching the replay, you're learning all of these things too with everyone. Okay, Elaine, wouldn't the paper back get destroyed by the cleaning? Great point, Elaine. If you're talking about this, that would be a good opportunity. If you're going to use it for a craft mat, do both sides in contact paper. That's what I would recommend. I think that would be best. And then, but yeah, actually, you're even talking about when we're using the stencil one too. I don't know. I've been reusing it quite a bit. The other one seems to be okay, but maybe do both. I did in the craft hacks video. I believe I die cut through 2 layers of contact paper, so it should be good. If not, put another shim in your machine and run it through. Great points. All right. Elastic worked fabulous. Acetate worked. Yay. Okay, so Michelle used acetate to make her own stencil. Fantastic. Okay. Thank you, Leanne, for the compliment. I have so much fun doing those videos. I'm learning as I'm showing you them. It's not like I just have this information. A lot of times you all share your hacks with me, and then a couple times when I can think of it, I compilate, put it all together, and then I go and I just do a video. There's like a few that are actually from my brain cavity. A few, very few. I think your next video should be a full day. Wait a minute. Sue, you want me to hang out all day? You guys would get sick of me. I was given a roll of the Cricut stencil film. Can't wait to try it. I learned not to let the dies hang off the paper because it's a stencil. Yeah, I use us too. Mm-hmm. All right, so many choices all the time. I know there's so much fun. There's so many tools. I like a new tool like the next person. Don't get me wrong, but I also what I don't like is I don't know. Maybe it's just my brain trying to be a little bit of a rebel, and I'm like, can I do this another way with something else? That's how so if you ever see a new tool come out, know that I'm in the background going, that's me. That's my, can I do it cheaper look? Okay, questions. Gina's, would the cutting mats from Dollar Tree work to make stencils? Oh, great question. They seem a little thick to me. So I don't know. Maybe if you use a Cricut and you put it on like the deep cut setting, I don't know. They seem a little too thick to me, but I haven't tried. Yay, Audrey, sorry, broke out my stencil film. Have never used before. Oh, they would be awesome. Yeah, it's really windy outside today. Thank goodness my daughter's meet is indoor. Okay. I saw another question. Would the cutting mats? Okay, I think I got all the questions. Let me just double check. All right. Okay. Now, this is my cleaning rag. It's very loved. Okay. Let's move on. I think we're moving on to the whole next block of instruction. And I'm glad that I extended the time because I feel that there is just too much to share. I'm going to show you this one more time just because I love it. Is there a good way? Are there good ways to repair a stencil? Ooh, I do not have the answer to that. I am no good there. My husband's Mr. Fix-It. if I need something fixed. I'm going to go off camera now. Aw, Mary's Crafty Creations, thank you. I can't believe there's 350 people in here. This is crazy. I love it. But if you missed it, if you're late, you popped in late, because we had such a wonderful response to the class, I was able to add some real big giveaways. So we have an extra grand prize winner, and I threw in like 3 or 4 additional giveaways to the mix. So thank you for everyone for joining, for responding, for sharing if you did. Okay, I'm going to go get my next section of things. Where are we at? Let me look at my schedule. We are moving into block 4. All right, block 4 is simple backgrounds. This is going to be a really quick block, actually. If you're new to stenciling, this will be useful. If you're old to stenciling, it's probably just you probably sit back and drink your coffee. It's just simple stuff. But simple backgrounds. And when I say simple backgrounds, I'm saying using your stencils for their intended purpose. All right. So in this block, I said I was going to be using the heart stencil. I'm using this heart stencil is from scrapbook.com. It's a 2 stencil pack. I'm only using the 1. So it's sort of like an open heart, and then there's like a filler, like a patterned heart that goes with it. But I'm just going to be using just this one for these purposes, okay? I even have little notes to myself of what I'm going to be using them for. I went a little overboard without having my assistant. I got nervous. So let's talk about some of these simple backgrounds. This is it. Using the stencil for its intended purpose, okay? That's what we're going to be doing in this block. And it's going to be quick because I really want to make sure we spend time on the out-of-the-box thinking for your stencils. That's a really great part. All right, so what we're going to do first is I'm going to put some stencil, I'm going to put some ink down on this stencil, and I'm going to talk to you about some technique as we go through it. But I am going to, I told you we'll be doing some deco foil. Now who else picked up the Transfer Gel Duo? All right, so little background on the Transfer Gel Duo. The regular transfer gel, from what I recall, it's been a long time, but you would put this down on your paper, you would let it dry, then you can run it through your laminating or your ink machine with foil and it will stick to it. The Duo is supposed to leave it tacky, 2-way use, heat or no heat. I did it. This is full disclosure, live, hot off the press. I did it. I let it dry fully. And it wasn't as tacky as I thought it was going to be. It was enough to grab the foil if I rubbed it really hard. And I love this result. I'm not going to lie. I love the sort of abstract look. But if you're looking for perfect, it just wasn't as tacky as I expected it to be. I was expecting it to be like Tombow Mono glue or this smart glue here from scrapbook.com, dries real tacky. It wasn't as tacky. So I just wanted to kind of share my initial thoughts about it. Now, keep in mind, I didn't do any research from watching other people use it. It was my own experience. So I'm going to keep playing with it because I do love the concept, no heat. I think that would be great. Norma asked, does accent opaque have one side smoother than the other? No, not that I noticed, Norma. All right, so that I wanted to make sure because I did put that in the supply list, and I'm going to talk about this placing that down. So let me get my little sheets here. This Deco Foil Duo, that's this one. We're going to, this is where your bucket of soapy water might come into play. All right, now I hope you forgive me because I said in the instructions I would be using the heart stencil, but I might grab another stencil so this one can clean off because I can't clean it. Like, it takes time. So hope that's okay. So I'm going to place this down right on top. Now, this is our first real, I think, demo with the sticky mat. It's holding my cardstock. I'm going to place down my stencil. One thing I noticed as I was reviewing a product recently is sometimes the sticky mat, if there is a film on your stencil, it will stick to the mat. Not going to harm the stencil. I just want to give you a heads up on that. All it did was take some alcohol ink and wiped right off the sticky mat. It was fine. But just in case, if you're alarmed. All right, now you'll probably see this turning like kind of a dark color because it's sticking. It's adhering to the sticky mat. So I love that. I'm confident in this. All right. Give me 1 second. When you are applying something that has a more liquidy and less paste kind of feel, so if it feels a little bit just more liquidy, just like then let's say a thick white paste, you're going to want to, the best application for that is something where you can just kind of evenly spread it. So like I said, a heavy piece of cardstock, old credit card. I'm just using this one. This is like a spatula, right? Just like that. Because I find that when I use my spatula with this kind of a product, it actually kind of gets a little textured, which, hey, you can go for that look if you want. And that might be why I didn't get that great of a, I don't know. This is all experimental. But that is what I would recommend. If you can notice this is the Duo Gel. It's thinner than my Cloud Whip, which I'm going to show you in a second. And when we get to the next one. All right. So I'm not going to use my spatula for this. You could use a palette knife. You could spread that out. However, I do just really like the idea of this. I'm going to have to load it though. So I do need something to load it. All right. So I'm going to use my spatula to load up my ink. Or not my ink, my Dual Gel paste. And nothing has to be perfect. We're just having a good time. I'm going to place that in my bucket of water. And then I'm going to start at the top right here. Okay, I'm going to bend down and I'm just going to swipe over. Okay, something hanging off. And then I'm going to do it again. Now this spatula has a little bit of a give, which is nice because it smooths out. Now you can see, I don't know if you can see that with the light, but it really went on evenly, right? So I'm going to have some extra. I'm going to do it again because I feel like the bottom is kind of not, and you want to go smooth and steady. You don't want to like jerk with it because then you're going to find that it has like waves in it. I'm going to come up from the bottom. I feel like that bottom is getting a little bit. All right. So there we go. And you want to have it as flat as possible. Okay. So that's just one thing I wanted to add about the using this kind of gel. Now you're supposed to let this dry and then it will be tacky enough to put foil on with no heat. Again, I'm going to do it again. I only did it once as a demo just to have an opinion about it first. So we're going to put this to the side and we are going to let it dry. And if it's dried by the time we're done with class, we'll check it out again. But look at how smooth. I'm going to show you this up close in a second. I'm going to put this in my bucket of water, but go clean yours if you don't have water. Please don't let that dry. Okay. And then we're going to pull this up carefully. Wow, that is smooth. So that is a really good reason to have that more flatter surface like spatula. Okay, would a ruler work to spread? Yeah, I don't see why not. You have a flat surface and I say give it a go. I'm really impressed with this. This application looks great. All right, so I'm going to pause on questions for a second. I'll come right back. I'm going to put this off to the side. Because knowing me, I'm about to put my elbow into it. You know. Then I'm just going to clean up my sticky mat. Okay, and we are good there. I already cleaned my spatula, so that's clean. I'm going to make sure I close this. Now, when we were talking before, if you put some press and seal around here, you can keep your stuff longer. I'll do that later. So we'll let that dry. Yes. Okay. Let me go back to the question that was happening here. Let me see. Thank you for putting it in all caps. I was using, Jennifer, the 100-pound cardstock from Accent Opaque. Marlene said, did you run the duo gel through your die cutting machine or run by? Oh, maybe that's what it is. Marlene, I love this. Yes, I was doing it by hand, actually. So I'm going to try that. I hope that dries before class ends because I'm going to go back. And Marlene, it's now your responsibility to remind me. See, I assign duties. That's a great idea. Die cutting machine. That's exactly what I didn't do. Thank you. Okay, you can have to let it dry 1 hour or until it turns clear. Okay, so we'll see 1, 2. Yeah, we might have time. We might have time if we're here past 2:30. All right, June. Being a beginner, I find it hard to tell right side of stencil from back side if no writing is on the stencil. Okay, June, great question. I don't think there is a back and front style unless there is like an image that is, let me go here. Unless there's like an image that is like that you have to keep in line. I think because one of my ideas we're going to talk about in the next block is flipping the stencil and just turning it over and getting new images. So I don't think that you have to worry about that too much. If you're getting a good image impression, you're good. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Melinda with the elbow print. Yeah. Okay. Definitely need to run through the die cutting machine. Okay. Awesome. Look at, see, I should have done my research, but I did not. I'm new to that product. Sharon says, my accent paper is 120. Is that different or just different weight? It's different weight, but it's the same brand. It's just thicker, really super sturdy. Great for a lot of things, especially card bases. I know, Rebecca, I love the collaboration too. This is so good. I learned so much in these classes. I'm not even kidding. Okay, so that is, we're going to try that. We'll have to come back to it after it dries. Next up, we are going to pull out some embossing paste. So whatever embossing paste you have, again, we're still on the simple backgrounds portion of this, all right? Now, I am going to actually, for sake of time, I'm just going to do, I'm going to pull out pops of color. So if you have white embossing paste like I'm going to be using, this is the Cloud Whip from scrapbook.com. And you have any kind of glitter glue or pops of color or Nuvo drops, whatever those, with the color on them, like this. You want to pull out a couple of those, 1 or 2. We're actually I'm going to show you can get multiple uses for your embossing paste because that's, something to consider. And now my example here, because I'll have time for this to dry, is right here. I would have done this a little differently. I was just playing. But I was doing the red color up here and then the yellow down here, and I wanted to mix it into an orange. You can kind of see it's got like an orange ombre, but it's a little too cut off here. So I would do a little bit different blending on that. Yes, Donna, yes, you can add ink, or we're going to try that. So I have the glue, and then I also have an ink pad here. So we're going to do both. All right. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pull open my Cloud Whip right here. And if you'll notice, I have my press and seal here. Now, Cloud Whip, when I first opened it, I was alarmed. I was like, why would scrapbook.com send me this dried up monstrous trash? That was my unfiltered thought. And then I realized, okay, just like you have to experiment with the Deco Foil Duo, Mary, you got to experiment with stuff. So right here, it's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to be like this. That's fine. You'll notice I have a mat over to my side. I could have used my contact paper sheet. I just grabbed this. This is just one of those crafty mats. And I am going to put my looking like it's dried up embossing paste Cloud Whip over here on the side. The moment you start to mix it itself, it becomes like a Cool Whip, like an icing type of texture. So that is exactly how you get it to look the way you want it to look. Okay, so you're just going to mix it on itself. Now, a couple things you can do. You can use re-inkers. You can use your ink pads, just ink pad ink right off to the side of it and mix it in. You can use glue drops. I would highly be cautious of re-inkers not to put too much in. If you put too much re-inker, because it's liquid, straight liquid, you're going to get a really runny consistency. So you want to do it very, very conservatively, okay? With the glue, this already has sort of a thick consistency, so you're not going to struggle with it as much. All right, let me move this over just a wee bit. Hopefully that makes sense. Anything liquidy, you're going to want to be very just cautious. Just don't use that much. Okay. I'm going to separate these. Now, I'm just doing this, and I'm seeing a comment in the comment section about the stamp wheel grip mat. Scrapbook.com has it sold separately, so you don't have to pay the $99 for the whole stamp wheel. I don't know if ALTENEW does. So just putting that out there. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of this, just that much of that, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this. Now, these are the pearl ones, so they're not really bold. They're more when they mix with this, they almost come out like a softer version of the color. So what I'm going to do is, so I don't have to go cleaning back and forth, I'm first going to mix this. Now, the great thing about embossing paste with your simple backgrounds for stencils is it adds another layer, another level up for stenciling. This looks like icing. I'm not kidding. I probably should have eaten something before I came in here. So now I'm going to pick up what I have, okay? And I have no stencil. I'm going to place it on the, I need a stencil. All right, let me grab one out. I'm grabbing the first one I got. If you're curious, this is called Roma, R-O-M-A, from scrapbook.com. All right, so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to place it down with my palette knife and just press, and start over here and press. Now, I did not use a whole lot of this embossing paste for this because I can always make more, but if I make too much, it's just wasted. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right, I'm just going to press it down. Now I'm finished with that. I'm going to grab baby wipe to clean up. If there's questions coming in, I'm sorry, I missed it. If you can ask again. All right, and then I'm going to mix. Instead of going back and forth, now I can mix it. I only have to clean it once or twice, you know, like once each. So now I'm going to mix this. I like mixing my embossing paste with the pops of color because of that reason, because I can add more color. I can get it bolder without getting it too watery. So what's the big difference between Cloud Whip and, say, Lunar Paste? It's the consistency, really, is the only difference I see. Lunar Paste is thinner a little bit. And Lunar Paste and Solar Paste, I don't know which one's the holographic. I think Solar Paste is the holographic. It's just a different look. But there's so many of these items on the market. They're just slight variances, really. Yes, this is Cloud Whip, Sherry. I'm using Cloud Whip. Okay, with pops of color. Okay, so then I'm going to come up from the bottom. And I don't want to rub into the pink yet because, well, for obvious reasons. For obvious reasons. So now I'm going to just cover, and you can just press down on your item, on your stencil. And now I have this right here, okay? So I'm happy with how much is laid out on the yellow, and now I'm going to start the mixing. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of mix through, and I'm getting somewhat of like an ombre look. Okay, it's not going to be as stark. I'm going to pull down just a little bit of that pink, a little bit of that pink, and a little bit of the yellow up. Just a little bit. Because remember, whatever sits on top, that's what we're getting. So then I'm just going to go right across. This is not a perfect science. This is have fun science. All right, so we're good there. I'm going to use my baby wipe. I'm going to clean this up. All right, and this stuff dries really fast, so take it to your sink, or see, it's already starting to dry on my craft mat, which comes off easy, but take it to your sink or drop it in your bucket. Let me put this in my bucket after we do the super fun reveal. There we go. I'm going to show you that up close. Stencil in the bucket. All right, and let me take this off. Now, another tip when you're using embossing paste. Oh, again, I'm using the 100-pound cardstock for those of you curious. When you're taking it off your grip mat, you want to try to not bend it as much as possible, okay? Now you can do, if you don't plan on cutting it down, you can do a little cleanup here on the sides, okay? Just to kind of wipe that. I have my finger in the, there we go. And again on this side and on this side. I sometimes just cut down my edges, but there we go. And let me give you a close-up look of that. Simple backgrounds, but so, so fun. Right? Super pretty. All right, Donna, welcome. She finally found us. Okay, Sharon has a question. Did you say stencil in the bucket? Do you have water right beside you? That's a great idea. Yes, I do. Stencil in the bucket. Absolutely. All right, let me go put this off to the side. When you're using embossing paste, I highly recommend a sturdy cardstock. So 80-pound or above. I would even go 100-pound though, because you're putting something kind of liquidy and heavy on it. Now I'm going to clean this up. Oh gosh, cover your ears. And the grip mat just goes right back to being sticky. So we're good. All right, so that is all I'm going to show you for the cloud whip. Just to reiterate here, to kind of keep it, even though it looks like a hot, dried mess. Anyway, I'm going to put that question. I know you said this before, but where is your grip mat from? Oh, it's from ALTENEW grip mat that you can get separate from the stamp wheel. Good questions. Anyone know, can I fix a dry Tim Hol? Oh, anyone who has ideas for fixing dry paste, shout them out. Shout them out. Share the info. Don't withhold knowledge. My paste landed under the stencil. Robin, is it because you are you not using a grip mat? Is the stencil have pieces that are separate? I've seen stencils like that where there would be like pieces that pop up. That could be an issue too. Okay, love the grip mat. Where did you get it? Okay, I got mine from scrapbook.com. It's really slowly starting to become my new favorite tool, if I'm honest, because, and this is really one of the main reasons, I have to film on my black mat and not my glass mat. And I get this question a lot because I really love my white glass magnetic mat. And I shared it with all of you how much I loved it and so on. And I can't film with it because my lighting system needs to be revamped because it's just straight glare. So anyway, I love this thing. It's becoming one of my favorites. Okay, I need a drink break. Remember in the beginning of class, we said we're not going to rush. That's me giving myself grace. Can you ink the background with a different color or white after you pick up the stencil? Can you ink the background with a different color if you pick up the stencil? You want to let your paste dry, if I'm understanding Donna correctly, but you can ink up, and then you have to be careful because it depends on if it's a shiny stuff. If it's not heat embossed paste or like heat embossing, you're not going to be able to resist it, which means that's going to get colored too, if I'm understanding right. Okay, let's see. What other questions? Hi. Yay. Hi, Nikki. Welcome, everyone who's just joining us. Okay. Almost break time. We should just go on break, huh? I think we'll just take a break. All right, before we go, I hope it was okay that we extended the class. Originally, it was only supposed to be 2 hours, but as I kept going and looking at everything I wanted to do and the fact that I have my helper, I wanted to just not feel rushed. So I hope that was okay. You all are so good about telling me about break. Yes, I love it. Ink over the dried paste. Yes, ink over the dried paste. I think you might alter, depending on what kind of ink you're using, you might alter the paste color a little bit. But I say try it out. If that's your intended purpose, then yeah, that'd be great. I think it'd be great. Okay. I have nothing right now. I need a break. We are going to take let's go all the way to the top of the hour. This will give me opportunity to take a comfort break. And then we'll come back. Okay, Zen girls, you didn't receive the prep sheet. Look in the description of this video on YouTube. I put all the links there for your sheets. Thanks, Monique. I'm glad. Okay. I know, right, Frida? You're tired. I'm tired too. All right, so let's take a break. I'll see you back at the top of the hour at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, I'm back. I'm back with my fancy knockoff Stanley Cup. It's not a Stanley Cup. I think those things are like $60. This is my knockoff version. This is so on brand for me, right? Okay, Barbara, I'm going to explain because that was life-altering for me today, and I can't wait to try it. All right, we're back. Question, how do I get cat hair off of ink pad? Tweezers? That's the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, let's answer Barbara's question. So Barbara, what we were talking about was this. So the Duo gel is supposed to dry tacky, and then you're supposed to be able to lay foil down onto it once it's dried, and it's supposed to stick to it, right? So I did when I rubbed it on, but it wasn't perfect. So when someone suggested running it through my die cutting machine, what that's going to do is with all that pressure in the machine, the foil is going to be pressed evenly through everything. That's the theory. And therefore giving us a fantastic result. So I'm already setting Duo up for success, right? It will deliver, but we have to let it dry first because I don't have another sheet that's dried. Okay. I checked some email or Facebook on the break, and there was one person who said the link wasn't working today, but I hope they found their way in. If they, that stinks. But there's 327 of you in here. So I say it is working. I just felt bad because I couldn't share the link publicly. Okay, you're welcome, Barbara. All right, so let's go. We're back from break. And what do we do when we come back from break? Pop quiz. What do we do when we come back from break? What is the answer? Tell me who's going to get it right. Giveaways. Anna's right. Okay, so our next set of giveaways are, oh yes, so they are gift certificates. So $25 each. And the winner, now side note, remember, if you win a prize, you don't have to be present in the live to win. But if you win a prize, then I will reach out to you directly via email to set up coordination. Okay. Also, prizes were open to international. And then the other thing was if you registered for the class, you were entered into the giveaway. No other work was needed to be done. So we have 3 gift certificates. Now, the fun thing about this gift certificate part is, Cynthia, I see your comments. So I'll make sure I said that. Is that you can choose if you want a scrapbook.com gift card or Amazon, because maybe there's certain things you want, certain places you live, and it's just easier. So you get to choose between the two if you win. And again, we'll coordinate that offline privately. So our first gift certificate winner is Rita Whalen. Rita Whalen is our first gift card winner. Yay. Woo! Okay, second gift card winner is Carol Watts. Carol Watts is a winner. Yay for Carol, if Carol's watching and here with us. And our third gift card winner is Diane DeWald. Diane DeWald. All 3 of you are gift card winners, $25 each. How exciting. Love it. Yay. All right. So again, I will reach out to all the winners separately. All right. Has my lighting okay? I think the lighting's okay on the craft mat. It seems to be. It's so dark in the room behind me. Like you can't see it, but it's like super dark. All right, lots of love coming your way. We are going to go. And just so everyone is on the same page as me at this very moment in time, this is the most people I have ever had on a live ever. Just ever, period. Oh, and by the way, because I love you all and I want to celebrate with you too. I think I'm like 100 and some subscribers away from 50,000 on YouTube. 50,000. So, wow. Yay. I'm like going to get teary-eyed over that. That's just so fun. It's so fun. I'm so happy people are enjoying the channel, the content, the craft hacks, the money savings, like those are really just what everyone seems to really like. So thanks, Lisa. Thank you. Yay, awesome. Okay, so that's for all of us because obviously it's not just me. I can't be 50,000 people. It's all of you. Okay, let's get back to class. Focus. All right. We're getting back to class. I am turning back off my face and we're going to the craft desk. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Last basic stenciling technique. I'm going to do, it's like the last simple one, is I'm going to use a stencil called a stencil. This is a stencil. A stencil called Starburst. So this is a two-part stencil. You get this piece and you get this piece as well. And so I'm just going to use this piece for now. But I'm going to just kind of talk through some tips for stenciling also. All right, so the first thing is when we're stenciling and we are, I'm going to use, give me a second. We're stenciling and we're using, I'm losing my brain. I have accent opaque, again. I have distress oxide. You want to choose a tool that's best for your stencil. I know that sounds like kind of weird, but I said it before in the beginning of class. If you have a very intricate stencil with a lot of pieces that will like pick up, then you want to choose a tool that's going to be forgiving with that or a technique that's going to be forgiving with that. So we had talked about the makeup pouncers, like the, not makeup, but like the pouncer ones. They are good for really super intricate stencils. This right here, this stencil is not going to pick up. It's got very solid pieces of stencil around it. So I'm not concerned about that. So I'm going to use my blending brush because even with the bristles moving into it, it's not going to move, right? And it's going to give me a really fun result. And it's going to be almost perfect. All right. So I hope I'm making sense. I think I probably should have got coffee on my break. Okay. So I'm just going to, when you're inking up, you can swish, you can tap, whatever you want. I was hesitant to swish because I just re-inked this. It's going to give me a lot of ink. All right, so I'm going to then just take, now, light hand gives you light coverage. Heavy hand gives you darker, heavier coverage. All right, so keep that in mind. I love this stencil because they're separated enough. I can use different colors if I wanted to, or I can switch, again, what's my intent for my project? I can switch to a smaller stencil and really stay one color at a time, right? So these are just things to think of when you're playing with your stencils. Have an idea of what you want to do before you do it, right? Oh, look at that. If you missed me saying it, I need to re-ink my oxides. Like they are, wow, I did not realize how much I needed to ink. I've been using this picked raspberry literally since it came out. It was time to re-ink. All right, I'm not looking at questions. You're making total sense, Mary. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys are so great. Karen's pushing. Karen and I forget who else. Mary, I think, was pushing for the thumbs up. Thank you. Give thumbs up. You know, there's algorithms on YouTube, and part of the reason why I want to, as I'm stenciling this, talk to you about the email list and why I'm pushing that so much. I can't rely on the algorithms for us to stay in contact. So if I have new classes or discounts or sales, destashes, all of these things, you're all in different places. Some of you are on Facebook, Instagram, some on YouTube. And so with email, I can just get it all out to you, the information at once. If you do not like all those email subscriptions, by all means, please don't feel like you have to hang on to mine. But I just want to clarify why I'm pushing that so much, because it's so much easier for me to communicate with you that way. All right. So we have this now. Again, we're just doing a simple background. That's it. We talked about the tool that you want to use. So I'm just giving you some tips along that. We're going to have the reveal. I love it. I love, love, love this. This stencil is so pretty. In fact, let me show you. I have it. I don't know if I have it. Oh, I don't know where it is. I did a vellum. I showed vellum in one of my recent videos, and I used the stencil with gold embossing. Oh, it was just stunning. So that's another thing. Like what what also ink or embossing are you using that's going to give you a great result. All right, again, I just wiped this up with a baby wipe and it is ready to go for the next one. Let it dry a little bit. And there you go, some simple stenciling. I'm going to clean my brush. I don't want anyone to yell at me. Okay, screen came back at 2:29. Deanna, what does that, did I miss something? Let me know. Screen came back at 2:29. I don't know what that is. Mine says 191. Are you talking about how many people are in the live? Mine's showing 338 if I'm jumping in on this conversation without knowing what's going on. Okay, so those are our simple backgrounds. We are going to just clean up our surface real quick. I'm cleaning up my stencils as well. I don't like to really use paper towels with my stencils if they're really intricate, because then you'll get pieces of that stencil staying behind. So I'm going to actually use my towel for that. I don't need to dump this in the bucket right now. Oh, you're talking about thumbs up. Okay, I'll just mind my business over here. Mary, is that the Ultra Sticky Grip Mat? It's the Ultra Sticky, I do believe. Yes. I was said before, I didn't trust. I didn't have a trust factor for the low tack. Still in the house, I need to leave. Okay, so happy you're here. Okay. Thumbs up. Okay, got it. Now, where are we? We are moving into the next and final block of instruction today, and that is get outside the box of your stencil. So I'm just going to briefly show you a couple different ways to think of your stencils in new light. Okay, so let me grab my next block of instruction. Oh, I may have misplaced it. Bear with me. Oh, here we go. Phew. Okay, so this next block, we're going to go through different techniques. Probably not going to get to every single one. I hope to, but look, I even labeled that. Okay, does rubbing alcohol tend to yellow dry out the stencils as opposed to alcohol-free baby wipes? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I've never noticed. All right. Anyone knows that question? Go ahead and help us out. All right, so we're going to move in. Let's just jump in. Oh, you all should see the crafter math here. It really is. I tried to contain it, and it's non-containable. Let's move into our first one, which is when you have a stencil. Now, this won't work for all of them, but I want you to consider when you have stencils that you can do certain techniques with. So take inventory. Look through your stash and see what can I do different with this stencil. So for example, this next one, these next two I'm going to show you. These are stencils. Do I clean the stencil with alcohol? I don't, Lorraine. If you're asking me, I do not. I clean my stencils with something damp, and that's all I do, unless it has paste on it, and then I will clean that usually with like some soapy water. All right, so this first one, I'm sorry, again, make sure you put your questions for me in all caps so I can kind of glance up. If I miss it and the chat's already gone, just ask me again. Okay, so this first technique is called rotate or shift. All right, so when I have a stencil here, look at this stencil. This has like open spaces, right? When I have spaces like that, I can put my stencil down and then I can rotate it and get added different colors, right? I can rotate. I can also do that a little bit with this one. This one, if it had a little more open space, I would have better luck. But then I can kind of shift that. Now, I'm going to show you what those look like once they're all done. This first one, if you use 3 colors on this one, you're going to get this sort of rotate. You're going to get this full of stars. Look at that, chock full of stars, right? Which I thought was so fun. The shift one, this one I just did 2 colors, and you could notice here that they're still white because they don't line up perfectly, but I actually really like that. And my daughter's school colors are blue and gold, and so I just made this, and I got those 2 colors. So what can you do with your stuff? Shift it. Can you shift them at all? We're going to try that one out first, okay? Patty's asking, what brand of baby wipes do I use? Oh, mine are like, I think from like the Sam's Club brand. but they leave behind pieces too. So if it's intricate, I don't recommend baby wipes on that. Is distressed oxide? Okay, we'll talk about that. Jean, could someone help out Jean with that question about distressed oxides? I want her to get that info. Okay, Nikki, I would take to YouTube unless someone else here knows the answer to your question about the Cricut, because I would have to go to YouTube University myself. Okay, so let's try. We're going to use this stencil right here. This is in your supply list. All right, and I'm going to do the shifting technique, or excuse me, the rotating technique with this stencil. All right, so we are going to, I think I put colors into the supply list for this. So we're going to stick with those. I'm going to use my primary colors. We have candied apple, mustard seed, and picked raspberry. Let me go grab my brushes. Blue, red. I love primary colors. The fun thing, though, about this one is they actually stayed primary because they're oxide. They didn't quite blend together. Well, they would have blended together. Let me stop that. I could have gotten the entire rainbow, but because I shifted them enough, you'll see. All right, so let's start. I'm going to start with the yellow. All right, and why am I starting with yellow? Because it's the lightest color. I have less chance of cross-contaminating it. All right, so this is another one of those that needs to be re-inked, I think. Oh, no, I did re-ink it. Oh, so this is going to be fun. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to be looking down. So those of you that have questions. Now, one thing I made a mistake when I was doing my first demo, I got ink into this star. If you want to keep that star a certain color, don't get ink into it. Otherwise, you can do what I did, and I just covered it with a big star. Okay, so that's an option. But I'm going to go around, and now this is great. This ink also, this specific stencil, because they're separated enough where I could do different colors if I wanted to without worrying. But I'm just going to show you very quickly the rotate technique, okay? I'm not going to overthink this. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. So that's the yellow. Then I'm going to take my stencil off. Now I do have to clean it if I don't want to get that cross-contamination, okay? So you can already see that looks great. I'm going to spray this off screen and use my towel. Okay, any questions coming through? Okay, just wipe that down. I want to dry it up a little bit. Did you say what color yellow? Yes, mustard seed is what I'm using. Okay, and now that was where it was. Now I'm going to rotate it. Now I don't want to rotate it in the center because I want to use 3 colors, right? So that would be cool if you use just 2 colors. You can evenly space them. And now I have like a really cool dual color look, if maybe it's like school colors or whatever. But I'm actually just going to shift it a tiny bit. And I'm hoping that it does overlap just a little bit, because then I can get a mix of those colors, right? Now, oxides tend to sit on top of each other, as opposed to, well, they could blend for sure. They could blend, but they could also sit on top. I'm just going to place that down. Now, you'll notice I have some space over here on my card. I would cut this card panel down like I did with my original, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to go in blue chipped sapphire. Okay, blue is, I'm using the chipped sapphire one. I like primary colors because I feel like no matter what, I can't lose. Even if I do mix the color, that's okay, right? Again, just getting this down on here. I'm using my ink blending brushes from Amazon. And I'm still using Accent Opaque 100 pound, all class pretty much, unless it's watercolor. And I'll tell you. All right, so I got a little bit of that star in the center. That's okay. We're not going to worry about it. When I use this panel, I'm just going to put another star in the center like I did. I like that look. I thought that was good. Oh my gosh, West of Phoenix Stampin', you got me all excited. I can't wait to do it. Cannot wait. See, I'm glad I put that disclaimer out because I know I didn't research it enough. All right, now I'm going to do one more shift. Okay, and I can actually probably get away with, I'm just going to do one more, just to show the concept. I'm not going to overthink this because we got lots of examples to show you. So I want to make sure I keep the train moving. Okay. Again, I'm going to cut this panel down so I'm not totally concerned about like if it goes off. I'm also going to use a gold star in the center, so I don't care if I get ink in the center. Not concerned. All right, so when you have your stencils, the first thing I want you to look at, can I do something else with this? And that's why you have that list of ideas for your stencils, so you can pull it out and say, how can I get more use out of this? And there we go. And again, I'm going to cover that center, so try not to focus on that. But with one stencil, we got a much better and different colored stencil background. Okay. Annette, I don't think it's released yet. So I can't say the name of the summit yet. Okay. I don't think that the information's been sent out, and I don't think we're there yet. Okay. So let me clean this up. The next one I want you to consider is the flip. And previously, one of our students, one of our classmates asked, I can't tell the difference between the back and front of stencils. So, but there is really none. And the great part about that is what we're going to do next is we're going to do a flip. All right. And so this was really fun. And it's also a flip and also sort of the notion of concentrating in one particular area and not the whole entire background. Okay. So let me show you. I'm going to put this striped stencil down. And I'm going to use, I need a second, green and a red. Okay. I am going to use two colors here because I did this for an example. I'm actually going to this is impromptu. So I'm going to pull out Crayon Fizz, and I'm going to pull out, looking for a particular color, Spruce, because I want to show you how cool this would be for the holidays. All right. Now I'm using a dye ink. I'm going to use my little dabber. Okay. Can't find it. Can't find my little dabber of my red one. I think I'm just, oh yeah, here we go. I'm just like throwing everything everywhere. Okay. So I'm going to show you the flip. So here, I'm actually going to just concentrate sort of in the center. I'm really not going to overthink this. Like if I start to overthink it, I'm going to get hesitant and I'm not going to want to keep going because it's going to not look great. So there, I just went into the center in one direction. Okay. I'm going to take that off, and then remember to clean your stencil off. Okay. We do not want, because this will be a major cross contamination if we do not clean. So I'm feeling a little rushed right now. So I'm going to slow down a little bit because this really will affect the other side of the stencil. So if I was like this for my red, the flip technique is just this. Just flip it over. Okay, let me dry it off a little bit more. You cannot flip layering stamps. You cannot flip layering stamps. Karen, is that to me or someone else? I'm not sure what you mean. Okay. Layering stencils? I think that's what you meant, Karen. All right, so then I'm going to flip this stencil, and I am going to use the green. Now I'm thinking of, with the almost plaid look, I'm thinking of like a holiday. And I did this in one of my videos, my stencil videos I did recently, because I thought it was just so fun. And then you can have like this, just the look kind of concentrated in the center. So this is another one of the techniques, is just stick with the center. Don't do the whole thing. And now I have this sort of plaid look. I can top that off with a little die cut in the center, maybe a greeting, or however you want to do it, maybe a little embellishment. So that's the flip technique. Okay, so you can do that one as well. All right, let's move on. And the next one I want to show you is the shadow look. Now for this one, you're going to need a light gray ink, and then preferably an oxide ink to go over it. The reason you want the gray ink doesn't matter. I don't care if it's dye or if it's pigment or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're just going to want a gray ink. All right. The one that is going to go on top, though, that has to be able to lay on top of other inks. So oxides or pigment is going to work the best. If you use a dye, it might not show up as well because it's kind of soaking into the paper. This is just my experience of what I found. All right, so I'm going to take, I need gray. I need gray, and I need, seriously losing my mind, folks. It really is getting a little bit too messy over here. All right, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use this one. All right, so now for this technique, you want, you could probably use any stencil for this one, actually, as I think about it, because it's going to mirror itself, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so I'm just going to place this down. Remember, we're talking about the shadow technique. All right, and I'm just going to place my stencil down, take my gray. I'm using Hickory Smoke from Oxide Line. I'm going to ink up my stencil tool, whatever you're using. A bigger one would probably go faster than what I'm using. I just couldn't find my big gray. And look how I'm doing this without having to touch the stencil or use tape. I'm a fan. I am a fan, especially if I'm going to be in here for a long time with stencils. You know, like that's a lot of tape. You can reuse what you can, but I like it. And you can buy this thing separately if you liked it. But this one so far, I've used this in the waffle flower one. I also like the idea of using an old Cricut mat. It's just, how are you affixing that to the bottom? Still make sure you tape it so it doesn't shift around. Now I'm going, okay. Frida, I'm sorry, I caught that comment. First time you ever felt like you needed a stripe stencil. Okay, so I'm just that's it, right? I'm kind of moving through these quick. Here's my reveal. Now, clean your stencil, just like always, as per usual. Waffle flower mats are great too. Yeah, I have to figure out what I'm doing wrong with my waffle flower mat because it's not very sticky. So I don't know what it is about me. I'm sure it's me because we have already determined that it's probably me based on the duo debacle. Okay, so now with the shadow, you are going to just leave a tiny bit. So you're going to shift your stencil and leave a tiny bit left, and that'll be your shadow. Now, the great thing about the oxide ink is it's going to cover pretty nicely. Now, make sure you're even all the way around your stencil. I was kind of off kilter. Okay, so that's good there. And let me show you the example that we have. This is the example. You see how it almost makes those dots look 3D? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go and I'm going to pick up my yellow and blue. Yellow and blue makes green. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to start blue on top and go down into the yellow. Again, my colors are chipped sapphire. Chipped sapphire. I know it seems like, well, what's the sense in mixing and covering up all that gray? Well, because we're going to get a little bit of a shadow left over. So it is. It is fun. But you want to make sure that you're getting that full circle, okay? Make sure you get that full circle. Going in, yellow is mustard seed. Maybe we should get, okay. All right. Mustard seed is going to show up. I think my gray might have been a little bit too dark under there. So I'm going to have to improvise. I think, yeah, when I did the first one, I think I used either pumice stone or the shadow one, I think. So we're getting a little bit of a too dark gray. No problem. What we're going to do is we're going to improvise by just going back to the blue. And I'm going to put blue on top of this. And we're going to make green because that's what we do. I'm just going to clean it right while it's on there so I don't over-contaminate my brush. I'm going to take blue. This is, again, the chip sapphire, and it's going to give us a different color blue. Maybe it won't be a perfect green. But we're live, and we're improvising on a live, which makes them more fun. Really, we're just showing you I'm just showing you the technique. I'm not really here to make this look perfect. Okay. So now I want you to see how that shadow look came out. Oh, cool. Very cool. Good masculine background too. Let me show this to you up close. All right, we see that? The gray color is hickory smoke. There we go. All right. So I like that one. That one's actually, the surprise turned out really good. I like that different color. It's a great masculine background for sure. All right. Next one up is going to be the masking. So if you're playing along and you have masking paper, not tape, but paper, if you have masking paper, that is either from a craft company. I use rock, paper, scissors because it's removable sticker paper. That's what it is. It's not like branded craft. What you're going to do is you're going to cut your masking paper a die, some shape, circle, star, it matters not. I'm going to do today, I think I said I was going to do a star one. So let me do a medium star. Grab that. And we're going to cut it. I'm going to show you in a sec. We're going to cut it right through the center of our masking paper. Okay. I always like to just double check which side is the sticky. Okay. So I'm going to now imagine you want it straight because imagine this being your card panel. So I'm going to actually tape this, just a little piece of tape. Okay. And I'm going to make sure it's straight. And then I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine just like that. All right, let me do that. Is anyone going to be doing this along with me for the masking paper technique? This is like one of my favorites because it's the cleanest look. It's the cleanest look, and I don't know, it's just a really cool effect when it's done. All right, let me pull that out. All right, so now obviously don't throw away your positive, but we have a negative and a positive here, okay? So I'm going to take off my tape. Now I can use this. I'm going to show you. We're going to use both. But the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to put our card panel straight down onto our surface. I'm then going to take my masking paper very gently. Don't rip it. My masking paper. All right, and then I'm going to just align it up as straight as possible and place it down. Make sure there's no bubbles. Once you get it down, make sure you do a reinforcement right here on the edges. Okay, and now, well, I think if I had to say a staple in your craft room is a brick stencil. I love my brick stencil. What's cool, what we're going to do is we're going to create a mask so that only the stencil piece shows up on the star, right? Really cool. I'm going to use hickory smoke and black soot for this. Black soot. I only have black soot in the the distress. So we're going to do that. Oh, you're welcome, Frida. Okay. Am I ignoring any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Let me know. So I'm going to take my hickory smoke again, and I'm going to put it, I'm not going to worry about up here because this is all masked. I'm just going to concentrate where my star is. All right. Now, if you want to take another level and maybe you want to do a sentiment right in the center there, you can actually, before you do this part, you can mask off the center too. So that looks really cool. Now I have both because I'm going to put down my hickory smoke first. Then I'm going to come back with my distress ink and I'm going to put that just right on the edges. It kind of gives this like a shadow look, but then like it just gives it a little bit more interest and dimension for it. So I'm going to do that. I have one of these tools that I use for this technique because it just sits right next to me and I just constantly use it. I don't really have a ink blending brush for it. So I'm going to almost pounce it on the corners of that star because I don't really want to rub too much into it. Like I don't want it to get too dark is what I'm saying. Okay. So I'm just sort of getting a little bit of that right on the edge. Again, not looking for perfection, looking for fun. All right, we got that done. And now our big reveal. All right, that even kind of looks cool, but it's going to look even cooler. Now, what you can think about for this is I want you to think about if you want to save this, that's going to be a little hard. Another reason why I don't buy craft masking paper, because I find that it's a little bit pricey for how much I would be running through it. But you can pull it off slowly if you want to. Okay, and then just save that for your next project or whatnot. Okay. So we'll put that off to the side. Now look at that. Is that not the sweetest? Oh my goodness. Now, here's what I want to pause for a second on the stenciling. And I want to talk to you about pulling out all the extra stuff that you have in your stash that gets no love because you color it and you throw it in the bin. I know you do. I know it is not just me. So I have a bunch of different things here just from over the years running. All right. And I'm going to show you just how fun just this technique alone is. Okay. So you can just put a sparkly sentiment right in the center and leave it that clean and simple. Right. Yeah, I agree. It's a masculine feel to the star. Absolutely. I love this. So there's that. There's also maybe you just have a little offset of something that you colored up. Right. What about a little banner for your sentiment? A little glitter cardstock banner, right? And then we just add the thanks. Like there's so many things you can do to really notch up. You can take these 3 balloons and you can just lay it there and you can have this little guy holding the balloon down here, right? Like so many ideas, right? So think about that when you have your stuff. Okay, question. When you took that off, it was rounded. How do you store it? Do you use something to make it flat? Okay, yes. So I would try to, if I store it, I'm just giving you that as an option, but I don't usually keep them. You can take back out the release paper and try to put it back down on that. I'm off. Why am I off? Oh, there we go. So you can just try and put it right back down on the release paper and then store it like that. It'll still curl up though because of the ink, but it's better, right? So that's something. Okay. All right. Lots of nice options. Yes. Okay. So there we go. So that is that option. Now, don't forget, you also, when you die cut and you use this technique, you also have the other mask. So you can put this on your cardstock and you can do the opposite and get this look, right? So you can do multiple things once you decide, you're going to use. Now, highly recommend. Dawn, I bought the grip mat from scrapbook.com. I bought mine from scrapbook.com, but I think you can get them at multiple places. Yeah, so you have right here, you have these options, okay? But that's why I love rock, paper, scissors. You get a lot, and you buy it once, and you're probably never going to have to buy masking paper again. All right, so that's that. Let me put the camera back on. I'm going to take a breather for a second because we are getting closey. Okay, how's everybody doing? How are we feeling? Whose back hurts? Someone else said their back hurts. My back is killing me. I know, right, Denise? So many. I'm so glad there's a replay too. I'm gonna have to go back and read the comments. I couldn't read all your comments. All right, I am going to give you a couple more examples. Actually, I'm going to give you one more talk about it. I'm not going to do it. Let me clean up my surface here. But another way that you can think outside the box for your stencils. Overwhelmed but fun. Yes, I agree. There's really no possible way to do this I don't feel any slower, even though I need to be slower. It's just it's hard. So I'm sorry you feel overwhelmed. I don't want that feeling for you, but it is fun. Good. Okay, I'm going to go back. Let me go back to, I'm going to stay small, but I want you to see me. There we go. I'm small. You see me, but you see my map. Okay. Another thing that you can think outside the box for your stencils is outline them. So I can put this down and take a very fine line pen or marker and outline my umbrellas. All right, when I do that, I'm going to get an entirely different look. I can Copic color them, or I say Copic, but I use Ohuhu alcohol markers. I could color them with any medium. I could put this back over it and ink blend them. So now I have an outline with an ink blended, easy colored up piece, right? So there's lots and lots of things that you can do with your stencils. So keep that in mind, okay? The outline one is a great option when you have these bigger images. It's so wonderful to craft and play with you as well, Cynthia. Okay, oh, thanks, Kimberly. What kind of compliment? Okay, question. Patty, your question cut off. You said, if you. If I what? Now I'm on the edge of my seat. Tell me. Okay, so I was with you to the last two techniques that I watched. Did I just? Okay, good. Good. I'm glad you're just like tapping out and just watching. That's fine. That's why we have a replay. Now, the last one I am actually going to do, because it is cooler than the other side of the pillow, is dry embossing. So I'm going to walk you through now. If you have a Spellbinders Platinum 6, yay, because I'm going to show you the exact sandwich I use to get this stencil that I'm going to do. I'm going to use this star stencil. This is like, I think a brick and a star stencil that you love is like a staple for your craft room. I really do. Okay, I have a question. Mary, have you tried Gina K's new stencil foil polyglaze? Super cool. You can have an outline or not. Oh, that's neat. I'll have to look into that. I'm a sucker for some new stuff. All right, so you can't see it. It's a hot mess. Let me pull open. All right, we're going to pull out our embossing. I have two more techniques to show you. This one and the resist technique. Okay. Now, I have this is my Spellbinders Platinum 6. I'm going to use the A platform. I'm going to go A. Then I'm going to do, wait, where's my cheat sheet? I need my cheat sheet. Hang on. Okay. Okay, so A. Then I'm going to go B. Then I'm going to go stencil paper. So we're going to go paper, cardstock. Okay. Let me just put it down this way. All right. Then I'm going to do stencil on top. Now I'm going to actually tape it down so that it doesn't shift, because for obvious reasons, I don't want it to be looking wonky underneath there. All right, that's good enough. All right, then I have, after that, I'm going to put my silicone piece down. All right, where's my silicone piece? Hold on. All right, got my silicone piece. And again, this is all included. All right, silicone piece. Then I added the shim. This is the shim that comes with the machine. Then the adapter plate. Great thing. If you didn't get all that, we're at timestamps, the 2 hours 43 minutes, I think. Yeah. So you can mark that down and then you can come back. But now I have this. Now what's going to happen, you wonder, is I'm actually going to emboss with a stencil. So now I can turn my stencils into embossing as well. All right. Now I'm going to go through once. I'm going to actually come back again, just to get it again. All right, we're going to move that out of the way and we're going to see what we get. Okay. Glad I have this chair behind me because I just throw stuff in it. All right, and this is, okay, that was a classic live move. Nothing happened. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. All right, so hang on. Literally nothing happened. Why? Let me check my cheat sheet again. Oh, and I'm getting to that age where I'm like short arms. Okay, we have our, I must have missed one. A, B, stencil paper. Stencil. It was so good. I'm just going to show you the result. I would show you the result of how it actually came out because I was highly impressed with it. Of course, I can find it in this mess. Put soft sheet down first. Rubber mat needs to be at the bottom. Oh, that's probably what it is. I went backwards. We're going to do it. Now I'm committed. Now I got to do it. So you're saying, so now I'm saying rubber mat. I have to redo my little cheat sheet here. Don't go to Mary's class. She doesn't know what she's talking about. All right, stencil paper. Oh, I did it backwards. That's why. AV stencil. We're going to try it again based on my cheat sheet. I put the paper underneath, but let's try it this way because, yeah, then silicone. We're going to try it again. Okay, we're going to try it again. Here we go. A, B. Stencil, then paper. If it doesn't come out this way, I'm going to say refer to YouTube for how to do this. Silicone, shim, adapter. We're going to try it. We're going for it. Let's do it. This is all love here. I don't feel judged by you. Cushy mat needs to be at the bottom. I'm hearing. All right. I'm being a rebel, though. I'm going to try it. Watch. It's going to come out wrong, and then everyone is going to be like, Mary, told you so. Told you. I know. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes, everyone. I live by that mantra, and now I'm showing it to you in real life. It is okay. Also, my brain is fried after 2 hours. It worked. It worked. Hold on. You can already see it. Looky, looky. Ice cream cookie. It worked. And this is the front that we care about. There we go. Yay! I'm not a total loser. Yes. Okay. So for those of you, let me say it again because I screwed the pooch on that one. If you're using these Spellbinders Platinum 6, A, B, stencil, paper, silicone, shim, adapter. That's it. That timestamp 247. All right. So anyway, that is how you can emboss with your stencils. Yippee yay. I have one more to show you. Then we are going to, actually, I'm not going to show you the full thing. Those of you that asked me about the gouache, I only put that in there because that was what I was going to be using, and I knew I would get a lot of questions. I was going to use the Arteza gouache. We're ran out of time. But all you need for that, I was going to show you the resist technique. So when you're using, I wanted to share this because it was a really good during my demo purposes. All right, when you are making, let's talk about the resist technique. That is when you are putting sticky embossing ink through your stencil, and then you are putting embossing powder over it, preferably white embossing powder. Then you heat set that. Then you add ink to it. So I'm going to show you what the result is. I had one that worked the best. Okay. Now I used white fine embossing powder. I used the Distress embossing ink. And as I used a white pigment ink to put that down. This is an old pad that I've had for like 12 years. But any sticky ink work, craft ink, embossing ink, doesn't matter. Put it down, heat set it with white embossing powder. All right, now here we're at this point where I'm going to show you the watercolor resist. All right, this is fun because what you see right now is nothing. But you are about to see a lot of something. Yes, you will. Let me just get a paintbrush. I paint your water. Okay, so I'm just going to pull out some purple and pink. This is gouache. Now, I'm just going to give you a brief description. Gouache is a little bit of acrylic paint, a little bit watercolor. So it's almost like the oxide of paints, if you will, because it's a hybrid. It's a little bit of both. Okay. So I just picked out 2 colors of my Arteza gouache. I'm going to add some water. This is like, they're great. They work so well with water. And then I'm just going to mix it. Now you can see that that gives like a watercolor mix, right? Patty, I'm going to check. Don't let me leave without it. Even if we have to close but stay, I'm going to check it. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spritz my watercolor cardstock. Now this is watercolor cardstock, not the accent opaque. And I'm just going to just add my paint. And it is resisting. The heat embossing is resisting. Okay. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that fun? It's like magic. It's like magic. So I'm actually decided I don't like that pink. It's a little too bright for me. So I'm going to use this blue. Try this out instead. All right, we're going to try that. I didn't really think much about what colors I was picking. I just chose. Okay, so love this. And if you want more, if you want help or assistance in like, how do I do this resist technique specifically because you're new to card making, please, 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 YouTube will help. I have videos on it. It's so, so fun. Background, I might have showed it in the background video that I have. Now I'm just going to mix because it doesn't matter. Now we're just going to mix the 2 colors together, right? Like how fun is this? Now, the next thing I would say is to, I'm actually going to move this along with, I wasn't going to heat it, but I am going to heat this with my, let's hope for the best. All right, let me read the comments while this dries. Yeah, super fun, right? So, so fun. Yep, that's gouache, fun and easy. You can see how pretty is that. And that's just using the embossing. This is a stencil. It's not a stamp. Usually you do a lot of these techniques with stamps, but I did it with a stencil. And a lot of times we get stuck. We get stuck in like, that's a stencil. I'm going to use it for its purpose. But there's so many things. And I hope that that's what class showed you today was how many different ways to mess with stencils. Make them yourself. Use them in different ways. That sheet I gave you is going to give you additional ways to think about stencils. And now I'm going to go through and I'm just going to wipe up some of that area. And there we go. We have a resist technique. And there's so many I didn't even get to tell you. But those are, everybody look away. Look away from the camera. I had to wipe it away. I don't have time. All right. So fun, right? So, so, so fun. Now, let's see if the deco foil dried. If you have to step off, I'm probably not going to stay much past 3. I don't want to hold you hostage. So please, by all means, feel like you have to go. All right. I don't know. Listen, I don't know if it's dried enough. It's tacky. I can tell you that much. But I don't know if it's dried enough. And you know what? I don't really care because it's just paper. So we're going to go with it. We're just going to send it through. All right. So if you missed it, if you weren't here in the beginning, let me reiterate what we're doing. We are taking this. I put this deco foil transfer gel duo, which you can do heated or no heat. And I put it through my stencil onto my card panel. And now I'm going to do the no heat method. And I'm going to use foil, and I am going to run this through my die cutting machine. Okay, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're here to do. I'm actually just going to take my X-Acto knife and cut a piece off. Oh, you got to actually put some pressure on it, Mary. Okay. All right, so how we're going to do this, let me get my sandwich ready. I'm excited. I'm so excited. This is going to be so fun. I can't wait to see it. Now, this is why. See, sometimes you guys think I have class so I can teach you stuff. No, I have class, I pull you all in, and I make you teach me things. It's trickery, I say. Trickery. Okay. All right, so I'm like my shim on there. I'm going to put my magic mat. I'm going to put my card panel. Okay. Then I'm going to place very carefully because it is kind of sticky. I'm going to place this down on top. You all watching? All right. Then I'm going to place my cutting mat on top. Bringing in big platinum. All right, here we go. Was that enough? Should I go back? I'm going to go back. Oh my gosh. This is like I feel like I'm at 4th of July fireworks where we're waiting for the grand finale. This is like the grand finale. Okay, hold on. Don't let me down, Deco. Don't do it. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my goodness. Holy cannoli. I just didn't put the deco foil good down there. Wow. Look at this. Okay, so those are all on the supply list. This is fun. This is great. No heat. Right through the die cutting machine. I love it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. That made it worth it. Thank you to whoever. I know it's more than one of you who told me, basically, Mary, you're doing it wrong. Get your stuff together. Okay. Let me take a deep breath. We're closing out, but we have more giveaways. We have to do that. And then let me just make sure. Ask me, isn't it so gorgeous? Took my breath away, honestly. Ask me any questions I might have forgotten. Maybe I promised you and then I couldn't get to it. That is where, in large part, your stencil. Oh, let me fix the screen here. You don't care about this. That's where this right here is going to come in handy. So I tried to include all and more in that download. Again, as a reminder, you can click the title on your PDF and it'll take you for close-up pictures and supplies. Okay. So that's great. And then we have our last few giveaways. So if you have questions, put them in all caps and I will answer them. Okay. So our last few giveaways here, we have, I have a plaque of glitter cardstock. It's probably got about 50 to 60 sheets of 8.5 by 11. I think it's about that size of glitter cardstock. And I would love to give that away to someone. And so our glitter cardstock winner is Miriam Schechter. Miriam Schechter wins the cardstock. How long is the replay going to be available? Always and forever, as long as I'm on YouTube. Okay. So you can watch it whenever and however long you want. Okay, next giveaway. Oh, we have, okay, so those of you that missed it, we had such a wonderful turnout for class, for the stencil class, that I was able to add additional giveaways. And so we already gave away, I basically gave away all the other ones. We have 2 final grand prize winners now, not just 1. So what's a grand prize winner? That is someone who wins this prize and gets to choose between one of 4 items. So if you win, you get to pick a new die cutting machines by Spellbinders, the one I showed you. You can get it in white too. The Spellbinders Platinum 6, the Spellbinders Better Press System, a Misty in your color choice, or the new stamp wheel, which will include the grip mat that I was using today. Okay, so that is the grand prize winners. So let me answer some questions before we announce the winners. You can access this replay by the same link that you joined for the live. Okay. What technique is this? I'm not quite sure what question that is. I'm done with techniques for now for this class. So let me know if I'm not seeing that or if that's an old question. Thank you, everyone, for your love. Please don't go yet if you can. I have 1 more minute. I have a survey coming to you in email form. So please, I love feedback. I really want to make this the best possible experience for people. So you'll see that's very quick if you can fill that out for me. And then again, you have all the supplies. Okay, let's do winners. So grand prize winner, you got the 4 that you get to choose from. We'll talk offline if you're a winner and you'll get to choose. Our first grand prize winner is Patricia Allen. Patricia Allen is a grand prize winner. And if there's more than one of you, her email starts with AJJJ. Okay. So I'll be emailing you for a grand prize. Yay. And then the second grand prize winner, I only have a first name, but I'll give you a little bit of the email. First name is Meredith. Meredith is our winner. And Meredith's email starts with DEMARI, Demari, right? Demari is the first part of the email. You'll be getting your email as well. Congratulations to everybody who won a prize. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing an abundance of grace as I did this alone today. I appreciate you all so much for everything, just all the things. You fill my cup constantly. You just are so encouraging. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. If you have any additional questions or anything I can help you with, please reach out to me. You all have my email. And I think that is all. Okay, you're all free. I'm going to stay and answer some questions. All right, Debbie, that was Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo. It's on the supply list. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for all the thank yous. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the feedback. You're very welcome. Yay. Any other questions? Let's see. Yeah, I agree. Annette said we have the best interaction with other crafty peers. I could not agree more. You all have the best. You give me the best info and sharing and everything. They're dirty. I can't take. All right, everybody. I'm going to close up shop now. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody. I will